As the night fell, the lights were on. Ruilin dragged his tired body out of the company building. As an ordinary office worker, his life is like the neon lights in this city, flashing and single. I work hard every day and work overtime until my back hurts. I just have a salary of 100% and have a house loan and a nurse. I can't even give up the coffee on weekends. Today is no exception. After get off work, he took a shortcut and walked into a remote back alley, trying to avoid the storm. The alley was filled with a damp, musty smell, the road lights were dim, and the water under his feet reflected his vague reflection. "Oh, it's another day," Ruilin murmured and rubbed his son's vagina. I flashed my mother's phone in my brain and urged him to find a partner. I flashed my boss's sarcasm and swear. He speeded up his pace, not noticing that the seemingly ordinary stone tiles were slightly different on his foot. When I stepped on it, I heard a light click sound, and a secret gap suddenly broke on the ground, and a squirm scattered with a strange fragrance and came over my face. Ruilin was shocked, his feet slipped down, and he fell into a hidden ladder. What the hell? He calmed down and groped in the wall to climb down. The staircase winds deep, and the wall is surrounded by glowing crystals, emitting a faint blue light. The smell of burning incense was filled with the air, and the breath of metal and soil made his brain buzz. Finally, my eyes suddenly opened and an underground hall caught my eye. The lights in the hall are brightly lit, not modern LEDs, but ancient glass lamps hanging, reflecting dozens of round tables. There were people wearing different clothes sitting around, some dressed in suits, some dressed in long robes, and they talked in low voices, with their eyes as sharp as horns. Ruilin stood there in a daze, his heart beat like a drum. Where's this place? Auction party? But the things in the chinlieko on the stage, a bent jade sword, a yellow jade pendant, and next to it was marked ancient magic weapon, starting at 500,000 spirit stones. Spiritual stone? Magic tool? It sounds like the world of cultivation in the novel. He rubbed his eyes, thinking he was having a fantasy of working overtime. But the atmosphere of the people around was too real. Someone slapped his hands and a fog of light appeared in the air. "Hey, boy, how did you come in?" A rough voice came from the side. Ruilin turned around and saw strong eyebrows staring at him, and a feeling of pressure was scattered on his body. "This is a hidden market, mortals stop." I've gone wrong." Ruilin tied his head and his brain flew. Just as Feng Han was about to move, a soft female voice sounded, "Wait, he looks harmless, let him stay. The auction is about to begin, and there are many people in the atmosphere." The woman who spoke walked out of the crowd, wearing a long black dress. Her long hair was like a waterfall, and her eyes were as deep as stars. "She is Vivi, the broker of the underground auction." Weiwei glanced at Ruilin, and a playful smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. "New face? Sit, don't walk around. The things here are not from supermarkets outside." Ruilin was pulled to an empty table and sat down, her heart was up and down. On the stage, an old man with white hair knocked on the jade turtle and announced the start of the auction. The first lot is an antique jade ring, which is said to enhance the spirit. The competitions in the audience were heard one after another. Some people shouted 1,000,000 spirit stone, and some people threw out the gold bars directly. Ruilin was stunned when he heard this. This world was too hidden. It turns out that behind the city, there are immortal cultivators who are lowly trading treasures and secretly compete for their strength. He secretly observed that some of the people around him had their fingers lightly, and numbers appeared in the air. Some were in the eye contact, as if they were heart speaking. All of this made him awake from his ordinary fatigue and feel anxious. The auction went to the middle, and an inconspicuous stone rune was brought to the stage. The old man introduced, "The source of this thing is unknown, it seems to be a broken rune, and it is estimated to be only 100,000 spirit stones. It is suitable for collection and has no practical value." There was a laugh from the audience, and someone snatched his head. "A waste, who wants it?" Ruilin stared at it. "I don't know why, a strange feeling surged into my heart. This thing is not simple." His golden fingers seemed to be born with an unusual ability and were quietly activated. The light and shadow inside the runes flash in the brain, a hidden door leading to the secret realm of nowhere. His heart beat faster. This was his chance. 18,000. Ruilin let out his mouth, and the whole scene was quiet. Everyone turned to look at him. A young man with oily and flour noodles, Lu Feng, was the first to laugh. Ha, where's the local bun? Is this broken thing worth 110,000? Have you gotten into the water? Lu Feng is a child of a family of immortal cultivation. He is wearing a custom-made suit and a shiny jade wall is hanging around his neck. He glanced at Ruilin, his face full of disdain. Boy, this is a market, not your vegetable market. Go out, don't worry. Ruilin's face was slightly red, but he just told him that he could not retreat. 12,000, he gritted his teeth and shouted. This was the money he had transferred from his bank card. Lu Feng sneered, I have a delusion. 200,000. He swept his hand, a spiritual light flashed through, demonstrating his wealth. People around the world talked about private words, and someone told Ruilin, boy, don't show off. This second young master of the Lu family is not easy to mess with. Wei Wei approached Ruilin and said in a low voice, are you sure? This rune looks ordinary, but your eyes are a bit meaningful. Her voice was as smooth as a silk thread, carrying the probe. Ruilin pointed his head, and his heart was short and determined. You can't miss it, it feels like the call of fate. He took a deep breath and said, 13,000. Mr. Lu, I am determined to win this. Lu Feng's face was so beautiful, you are looking for death. 30,000. But the old man knocked, 13,000 times, 2 times, the deal. Congratulations to this new guest. The whole scene was disgusted. Lu Feng slammed the table and stood up. Impossible. How is this waste worth money? He stared at Ruilin, his eyes flashing fiercely. Boy, wait. Ruilin clenched his fists tightly, and his heart felt very happy. For the first time, he did not retreat and felt like he was crushing this self-righteous rich second generation. Wei Wei patted his shoulder and said, congratulations, the weather is good. Let's go, I'll take you to the back hall to make a settlement. The auction ended and the underground hall was burning with lights. Wei Wei led Ruilin to a secret room, which was decorated with ancient scripts and was engraved with runes on the wall. She passed the rune, activate it. It requires spiritual guidance, but are you mortal? Ruilin held the rune and his palms were warmed. His golden fingers flew again, and a golden light burst out from the rune. Buzz, the air shook, and Ruilin felt a warm current flowing into the veins, and his body felt reshaped. The muscles are tight and the vision is clear, and the ears can even hear the heartbeat from the distance. When the spirit first emerged, he passed from the mortal to the gate of immortal cultivation. This is. Ruilin was amazed, and his inner ambition was like a flame. I am no longer the mediocre office worker, I want to rise up, protect my family, and climb to the peak. Wei Wei's eyes lit up, channel rune. Lost objects can open the ancient secret realm. Your direct vision is true. This thing has endless potential, and there are secrets of immortal cultivation and spiritual powers hidden in it. Be careful, Lu Feng is eyeing you. His family specializes in killing newcomers and killing them. The voice fell, and the sound of walking came from outside the secret room. 3 men in black entered, and the head smiled. Lu Xiao asked, hand over the runes. Ruilin's heart was tight, but his spiritual instinct surged. He instinctively slapped his hand and an invisible wall slammed the opponent's attack. The man in black swept into the air, hit the wall, and hummed. Vivi was shocked. Are you getting started so soon? Chan. Ruilin growled, with the power of rebirth in his voice. The men in black looked at each other and retreated in shame. Ruilin gasped and felt like he had changed. From a confused mortal to a potential newcomer to a newcomer of immortal cultivation, the world was completely different this night. Vivi grabbed him. Follow me, this is just the beginning. The water in the city is deep, you need allies. They hurriedly left the underground passage, and the night wind blew. Ruilin's eyes were settled, and the shadow of Lu Feng behind him was approaching quietly. Terms 1287. The moment Ruilin opened his home, the familiar fragrance of rice dishes came over his nose, clinging to the sound of the old mother humming a small song in the kitchen. This is a 3-bedroom and 1 hall located in the old and small district. The wall is a bit scattered, and the old sand in the living room is filled with magazines. Outside the window is the city's car and more dragon, which is hidden from the noise of the speakers. But tonight, all of this tasted different. His heartbeat was not calm yet, and the runes in his palm were like potatoes with stoops of hands, igniting heat, as if they were moving like life. Linaire, are you back? Why is it so late today? You're so hot, wash your hands and eat. The old mother poked her head out of the kitchen, her skirt was covered in oil, and her face was filled with smiles. Ruilin smiled reluctantly. Mom, I've eaten. I'm tired. Go back to the room to rest first. He slipped into the bedroom, locked the door, and let his back rest with his back to the door. The room was small, with a computer and several career books on the desk, and the bed was dimly yellow, taking a yellow family photo on the wall. The windows were pulled tightly, blocking the neon lights outside, and there were only low air conditioning and low heart conditions inside. He sat on the bed with his legs and took out the runes. This stone talisman looks rough, with an ancient pattern on the surface, like an oracle bone inscription that is swayed. But when he injected the power of his awakening, the rune buzzing sounded, and the golden light spread like a wire. In Ruilin's brain, a huge amount of information is stormed into a volume of ancient Immortal Cultivation secret book, The Mysterious Stories of the Heavenly Channel. The secret book flows like living water, recording the spiritual movement, the foundation gate, and even the hidden secret entrance. It turns out that this channel rune is an ancient object that can connect the world of immortal cultivation and ordinary people. The holder can absorb the spirit of the secret realm and make infinite changes. It's so crazy. Ruilin murmured, feeling as if he was a tide. In the past, I was just a trunk that was crushed by life. Now, this power allows me to see the road to the peak. I am afraid that I am still there, but more of a desire. He closed his eyes and followed the secret guide to move his spirit. The dantian felt hot, like a warm current surround the veins, the muscles trembled slightly, and a foggy whirlpool appeared in the field. After 2 hours of repair, his spirit violently exploded, and his scattered atmosphere directly hindered the early stage of the foundation. There was a flow of light under the skin, and the power was like a tide. He punched the air and even made a pop explosion. The water cup on the desk was shocked and the dinghy was shaking. Just as he was immersed in it, a strange thing suddenly came out of the window. In the night, 3 black shadows rolled into the wall. The head was a swaying head, a middle-stage spiritual pressure on the body, and his eyes were as cruel as a wolf. Boy, hand over the rune. Mr. Liu said, You, mortal, please let it go sooner or later. Wang Han growled, the short blade in his hand shone cold light, and the air was filled with the smell of killing and sweat. The 2 little brothers around scattered and blocked the retreat. Their steps stepped on the concrete ground, making a deep echo. Ruilin's heart was tight, afraid of being as cold as ice water. Lu Feng, how fast is he doing this? My mother is still at home. But the spiritual instinct in the early stage of the priest moved, and he recalled the basic method in the secret book Xuanqi Palm. This is a simple spiritual release that can condense the air and turn into a palm. Really? Ruilin sneered, stood up, and his palms flashed. The stern slammed in, and the short blade stabbed straight. He shaped his body and pushed out with his right hand. Go! Room! An invisible palm shot out like a cannon, the air twisted and produced a low scent. The chest was as if it was severely damaged, and it flew 3 meters away, hit the wall, and blood was leaking from the mouth, and a short blade fell to the ground. The 2 little brothers were stunned and rushed forward, but Ruilin was already trying to help, and his spirit was as strong as his arm and his fingers were used, and he slapped out his 2 palms. They yelled and fell to the ground, the sound of shattering bones being particularly harsh in the night. After only 10 seconds of the whole process, Ruilin stood still while his fist was still shaking. Cool. I have been bullied before and can only endure it. Now, with one move, the pleasure of the face is like a current swelling body. Lu Feng, I have been stepping under your feet with such a smile. The dark shadows got up, the wolf fled, leaving a ruthless saying, the Lu family won't let you go. Ruilin chased to the window, the night wind blew his hair, the city lights flashed far away, and the sirens were shaking the silence. He closed the window and pulled the slightest, and the fear in his heart disappeared, and replaced it with the flame of self-confidence. I am no longer a weak person, and I will definitely take this path to cultivation. The phone suddenly shook, and a strange text message jumped out. I am Weiwei, I just heard that the Lu family has taken action. Are you okay? Don't go back to the alley, where there are their eye lines. Come to the Madian tea house in East City. I have a love to help you avoid chasing you. Remember, the water is deep in the city, and it's not enough to fight alone. Ruilin was stunned and replied, thank you, come right away. Weiwei's efficiency surprised him, and this woman was not simple. Half an hour later, he changed his old robbery, slipped out of the monk and took the underground railway to the east of the city. The Madian tea house is hidden deep in the old street, and looks like an ordinary milk tea shop. The neon lights at the door are like ancient tea. Push the door in, the tea-scented noodles with hot tea and the sweetness of jasmine flowers. Weiwei was already sitting in the corner, with a green dragon in front of her, and her long skirt shone under the light. She raised her head and smiled, move quickly, newcomer. Sit, what cup to put on? The spiritual tear can hide your breath, and the Lu family can't catch up with you at all. Ruilin sat down, ordered a cup of pu'er, and in a hot air, he said softly, I'm sorry for you, but I've just beaten away 3 thugs. In the middle of the priest, I'll solve it with one palm. Weiwei's eyes lit up, not bad. The runes of the passage are really powerful. Have you activated the secret book? The mysterious art of the heavenly channel, it's an ancient color, which can directly reach the spiritual power of the secret realm. The Lu family is eyeing you, their family specializes in killing newcomers, and they're shaking up magic treasures. This time, they want to use you as a pride to attract more inquiries, and then fight with one net. Ruilin's eyebrows said, Ing? That boy Lu Feng is so good? Weiwei was approaching, and her voice was low. Not only, his father is the head of the Lu family, and it has been a big force in secretly controlling the underground market. He heard that they were at the entrance of the ancient secret realm at the picture, which was related to your runes. If you don't work with me, I'm afraid you won't be able to hold it. She passed a jade scribble. This is a city map and an escape route, holding it. From now on, we are allies. I provide information, and you share the secret realm machine. How about you? Ruilin held the jade pendant and felt a sense of slightness entering his body. He flashed his heart. The single gun is too dangerous, and with her there, the road will be wider. He pointed, get the deal. But I have to calm down and cultivate the building first. Weiwei smiled, smart. The Lu family's eyes are all over the city, don't be tempted. I will help you explore the secret realm. It was late at night when I left the tea shop. The stone slabs on the old street are slippery, the road lights are stretching out shadows, and there are low birds of wandering cats far away. Ruilin walked around and moved the power of the spirit, realizing the wonder of the flowing, like a river entering the sea, fearing it turned into strength, and confidence rose like the rising sun. He suddenly felt a strange movement behind him, and a secret spiritual scan came. Is it the Lu family's spy? No, it's even stronger. He warned that an old man with white hair walked out of the shadow, his long robe was floating, his eyes were as waving as an ancient well. Are you? Ruilin acted in a secret way with the spirit. The old man smiled and said, boy, don't panic. My name is Licheng, a wandering cultivator in the world. Your rune is activated too quickly, and the spirit is ejaculated, which leads to the Lu family and me. He shook his hand, and a soft light curtain covers the surroundings, leaving the siege. The smell of grass is filled with a faint smell of grass in the air, and the old man's breath is like a mountain, so it is not stressful. The rune secret cannot be understood in one day. It connects to the secret realm, but it needs to control the channel seal, a kind of mental method, which can stabilize the door and avoid backlash. Ruilin was moved. How do you know? Can you teach me? The ingenious point said, it is because of the incompetence. I have lived in the city for many years and can't see the habit of Lu's family. Come, sit down. On the bench on the roadside, the old man pointed his fingers at Ruilin's eyebrows lightly, and a clear message flowed into the basic movement of the passage seal. The spirit was marching like a chain, and the sealing runes were in danger. Ruilin tried to move, the dantian was stable and solid, and the power was even more pure. Thank you for your advance. He stood up and felt like he was full of wings. Li Cheng stood up, and the night wind blew his hair. The Lu family is not only squeezing runes. They want to use it to open a secret urban realm and swallow up the spiritual impoverishment market. You have already revealed your light when you resolve the pursuit tonight. But remember that cultivating immortals is not a powerful force, it requires wisdom, courage, and turmoil. Next, stabilize the foundation and explore the initial secret realm entrance in the rune. There is an ancient treasure there, which can help you crush Lu Peak. The old man's figure faded and merged into the night. If you have something to do, silently recite the intellect to call me. Ruilin watched him leave, and his heart was surging. The urban repair level is too deep, and there is no competition under the surface of being rich. But now, he has secrets, allies, and mentors. When he returned home, the sky was lightly bright. He pushed open the door, and the runes were warm in his palm, as if in a whisper, the door of the secret realm was about to open. Lu Feng's shadow was still there, but Ruilin's pace had already moved forward. Number of words, 1268. It was just bright, and Ruilin opened the window of the bedroom, and a long morning light shone in, illuminating the rune on the desk. It lies quietly, its surface is slightly movable like a living creature. Li Cheng's guidance last night was still circulating in the brain. The channel seal mental method washed the veins like a clear spring, so that his spirit no longer dispersed. He took a deep breath, and the noise of the city came from the bottom of the building, the car horn, the oil scent of breakfast, and the sound of the neighborhood. All this familiarity is far away, and now, his mind is all on the road to immortal cultivation. Call the way forward. Ruilin silently recited the word intellectual in a low voice. A fog suddenly rippled in the air, and the figure of the standing figure condensed from the air. The old man had a long robe and a relaxed and elegant hair, his hair was light and slim in the morning breeze, and his eyes were gentle and deep as the sea. Boy, how about the cultivation last night? Is the power stable? Li Cheng sat down with his legs, and there was a fragrance of grass and trees in the room, like the breath of mountains and forests, entering the urban prison. Ruilin clicked his head and sat opposite him. I've been stable a lot, but I always feel stuck at the top of the early stage of the foundation. The spirit flow is blocked when the spirit moves. He lifted his spirit, and his dantian felt hot, and it was as scattered as if it was encountered. Li Cheng smiled. Normal, newcomer bottle head. The channel rune is extraordinary. It connects to the ancient secret realm and can help you break through. But be careful. In history, countless geniuses exploded due to the invasion. The old man pointed the rune lightly, and the golden light flashed, and Ruilin's brain stormed into the fragment. In ancient times, the channel rune was the key to the immortal world, opening the secret realm of no amount of time for monks to absorb spiritual treasures and gain magic treasures. But later, the aristocratic families fought to the loss of runes, and many of the wastes were ruins, leaving only scattered fragments hidden in the mortal world. The Lu family specializes in killing newcomers to destroy these things. Their traps are always their false information, secret realms, and even poisoning pills. Remember, cultivating immortals is like walking on a steel wire, and wisdom is achieved through power. Ruilin heard the heart and felt as if he was alone in his heart. From then on, I just wanted to keep my family warm. Now, this power is not only for rise, but also for protection. You can't let jackhauls like Lu Feng hurt the mother. He held the rune tightly and said, previously, teach me to open the secret realm. The innocence point, silently run the channel seal, keep your mind at the dantian, and lead the rune light into your body. The secret realm is just a small size, and there may be a spirit beast in it to protect it, which can be used to support you. Ruilin closed his eyes and injected spiritual power according to his guidance. Runes buzzing, the air in the room was twisted, and a golden door shadow appeared. He was delighted and pushed the door in. His eyes suddenly changed, and the surrounding area was no longer a small room, but an ancient forest surrounded by misty air. The ancient trees in the forest are surrounded by the sky, the leaves are covered with light and the air is filled with scattered spirit, nourishing the veins like sweet rain. The feet fell and the leaves were rustling, and there was a gurgling sound of water everywhere, and a humming like a bird. This small secret realm is only 100 meters square. A green spirit floats on a stone turtle in the center, and the body of the slayer flows like water waves, scattering the cold spirit. Fabeo. Ruilin stepped forward excitedly, but the spirit around the stone turtle condensed into a blue wolf shadow. The mid-term breath of the foundation was swollen, the wolf's eyes were red, and the claws were scattered and the roared low. Ruilin moved forward with his power, and used his mysterious palm to emerge, and the wolf shadow flew away and came to bite. His body rolled up, the soil was rising, and his nose was swaying. The bottleneck exploded at this moment. The blockage of the spirit made him fall into some trouble, and his heart was anxious. I can't retreat, this is my first battle. He was as sure as a thorn in his heart. He recalled Licheng's teachings and carried out the slamming of the bottleneck. When the Dantian shook, the power was like a flood that broke through the dike, flowing purely and directly blocking the foundation in the middle stage. The power surged, and he rose, and he hit the wolf's head with a palm. With the sound of shock, the wolf shadow collapsed and turned into spirit and merged into his body. The stone turbulent light shone brightly, and the spirit drama flew into his hands. The sword is light and dirty, and it brings a sense of the master. The Ruilin dances, the drama is as breathtaking as a rainbow, and an ancient tree is cut off, and the wood chips fly, bringing a clear and refreshing atmosphere. The battle force increased, and he felt like he was full of wings. Breakthrough. Ruilin murmured, his heart turning like a fog in the morning, I am no longer that fearless office worker, I can protect everything. The door of the secret realm opened again, and he returned to the room and set his head in a grudge. It's not wrong. The spiritual drama is called Qingba, which can break all the methods. The first step is to avoid the trap of aristocratic families. Go to the market and take photos of some aided elixirs, and have a stable state. But that boy Lu Feng is probably already eyeing you. Ruilin took the sword into his body and thanked him for being honest. The old man faded away, and he changed into an ordinary shirt and slipped out of the monk. On the ground, the crowd was swaying, and the smell of sweat and perfume were mixed. He was low in his energy and hiding his breath. Weiwei's text message came at a time, there is a special venue in the market tonight to help with the sale of elixirs. Lu Feng will go, be attentive. I'll wait for you at the entrance. He replied, okay, associate. The entrance to the underground passage is based on the secret of the Old One. Ruilin stepped down on the wet stones, the fire in the hall was bright, and the glass lamps reflected the many hidden things. Some of them trade spirits in low language, some of them compare their fingers with plans, and they burn incense and metal smell in the air. Weiwei walked out of the crowd, her black skirt was as bright as the night, and her smile was as old as she said, Newcomer, is the breath stable? In the middle stage of the Qingji? The true god of the runes of the passage. She pulled him into her seat and said in a low voice, the Lu family is one of the 3 major urban immortal cultivation families, controlling half of the underground market. Their ancestors have been given ancient robberies, specializing in cultivating children to kill casual cultivators and killing them. That boy Lu Feng, relying on the late stage of the Qingji and family elixir, has become a habit. Today, there is a spirit pill to help you calm down the spirit drama, and we will shoot together. On the auction stand, the old man knocked on the stake, and the first piece was a jade bottle of elixir. As the price started, Ruilin and Weiwei cooperated tacitly, she called for the price to cover up, and he lowered the code. Suddenly, a disdainful laughter echoed, yeah, isn't this the local bun? Do you dare to come and stay in the market? Hand over the runes, you won't die. Lu Feng walked out of the precious area, with his western trousers and jade tiles shining on the foundation in the later period. He was surrounded by pursuing the second young master of the Lu family. Ruilin sneered and stood up. "Lu Feng, I was beaten away last time, and you still want to die this time?" The whole room was watching, and Lu Feng smiled. "Boy, will the middle stage of the qi be in the middle of the qi? Look at the move." With his hands pinching, a fireball condensed, the heat waves swept the surface, and the air was twisted. Ruilin's heart was tight, but the spirit drama was already buzzing. With a thought, the green waves were out of the sheath, and the lights were like water waves, and the sound of the air swept. The fireball shattered, and the waves hit Lu Feng's body protecting spirit shield. With a crack, the shield broke and retreated. Lu Feng stumbled backwards, his face turned pale, and a bloody mist leaked out of his mouth. "Impossible! Why is there a magical sword in your wasteland?" Lu Feng roared angrily, his eyes terrified. The whole scene was unhappy, and the eyes of the cultivators changed. Someone whispered, "This new man crushed the second young master of the Lu family? It's strange." Wei Wei covered her mouth and smiled lightly, and La Ruilin sat down. "Fuck beautifully." Lu Feng lost his face. His family background is deep, so he probably wants to ask for help. Ruilin was cheerful. He had to endure being bullied before, but now, a sword breaks his defense, which is the taste of growth. But he suppressed his ecstasy and said in a low voice, "I will pay more attention to your information. Next, gather the spirit pill." The auction continued, gathering the spirit pills to the stage, starting with 15,000 soul stones. Although Lu Feng was a wolf, he gritted his teeth and shouted, 60 million. Wei Wei approached Ruilin. "I will pay 300,000 yuan, you can squeeze him." They joined hands to increase the price. Lu Feng's face was red and his neck was thick, and finally he made a deal of 900,000 yuan. Vivian Dan, Alliance benefits. This Dan can double the power of the spirit sword. The Lu family is not only guilty. They want to use your runes to open the great secret realm and swallow the spirit and destroy the urban Immortal Cultivation Circle. We have to be careful. At the auction, Ruilin and Wei Wei left the hall. The lights in the passage were dim and the sounds of the steps were endless. Suddenly, the air condensed, and 5 figures scattered the way. The first one is a middle-aged man. The peak of the foundation is like a mountain. Lu Feng is hidden behind him and smiles. "Boy, the family leader will take action, see how you die." Marsh growled, "Shift the rune, otherwise you will die." He slapped his palm, his spirit came like a tide, the walls of the passage were shaking, and the dust was rustling. Ruilin pulled out the sword, Wei Wei's figure flashed, and the dagger was shining under her black skirt. "Join." She stabbed her body to the side wing, and the dagger made an arc, forcing her to retreat 2 small balls. Ruilin's sword moves with will, and the green waves are like water dragons, facing the power of the palm. Shadow. The sword's palms intersected, sparking 4 times. He used the force to retreat, and the spirit of the Dantian was pure and flowing, and his heart was determined. "I can't escape from my family." A sword stabbed out, breaking the anti-suppression line, and the tip of the sword was pointed at the shoulder, and blood was rising. He screamed, and Wei Wei pulled the knife back and the dagger entered her throat. The remaining 3 people were in a group. Lu Feng saw that the battle was not good, so he turned around and fled. "Let's save me." But Ruilin was angry and one of them fell to the ground with his arms slashed. Vivi flexibly avoided and solved the other. Finally, the last one knelt down and begged, "Let's live, we are outside the Lu family." Ruilin snorted coldly, "Come on, tell Lu Feng, come here next time." They fled, the passage was quiet, and only the smell of blood was left. Wei Wei gasped and wiped the dagger. "The fight was successful, you can get started quickly in the art. The urban Immortal Cultivation Circle, you have gained a foothold. The cultivators will be spread, and the Lu family will not dare to make it clear in the short term. But they will not stop in the matter of the great secret realm." Ruilin closed the sword, and the night wind blew in from the exit, shaking the neon smell of the city. He pointed, "Thank you, Vivi. With you, the road is easier to walk." They walked out shoulder to shoulder, and the lights behind the city were far away. Although the road ahead was full of endless possibilities. Ruilin touched the syrup medicine and thought to himself, the midterm of the syrup is just the beginning, protecting the determination of the family, and will push me to the top. Terms, 1246. When Ruilin opened his home, it was already dawn. The mother was wiping the tea table in the living room, playing morning news on the TV, and reporting traffic jams in the city center. He hurriedly greeted him, dribbled into the bedroom, and closed the door. The spirit gathering pill in the morning is still hot, and the spirit green wave has already recognized it, blending with the veins. Last night's thriller made him feel irrelevant, from passive defense to active counterattack. This change was like a fetus in bone change. But he knew that Lu Feng had escaped and his shadow had not dispersed. The urban circle of immortal cultivation, like the sewers of this city, hides countless undercurrents. It should be a stable state. Ruilin sat down with his legs and swallowed the spirit-gathering pill. The elixir melts immediately when it enters the mouth, and a pure force flows into the dantian like a river. The green scorpion buzzes and scorpion responds, and the scorpion and spirit intertwine tidy, washing the veins and scrub the fetus. He moved to the mysteries of the heavenly channel, and the spirit whirlpool accelerated, his body as if burned by fire, and like the spring breeze blowing on his face. Sweat soaked his clothes, the room was filled with a faint fragrance of medicine, and the birds outside the window sounded as if mocking his past ordinariness. After 2 hours, the bottle head is eased, and its power is like a dike, and its stability is penetrated into the mid-stage peak of the foundation. His mana increased greatly, and he punched out, and the air burst out with a low explosion, and the wallpaper moved slightly. The heart is alone, power is not the end. The Lu family's help to the jackals is the test of gold and stone. Silently recite intellectual and the figure of the intellect condenses. The old man stroked his stern, his eyes like a torch. Boy, the elixir is used in time. The peak of the middle stage of the foundation is good. But the second-level secret of the channel rune can be reached. He pointed his finger at the rune, and the golden light spreads like a wire, and Ruilin's brainstorms new information. The rune not only opens, but also engages the network, a space network that uses spiritual power to organize virtual intercourse, hiding traces, setting traps, and even presuming a crisis. This is ancient war art, born for strategic layout. Li Cheng said in a low voice, cultivating immortals is not a waste of energy, but it is transformed from a single pure cultivation to the overall situation. The Lu family is deep and far away. You need to be wise to layout in order to achieve success. Try running the network, keeping the runes in mind, and the spirit is like a silk, scattering all over your body. Ruilin closed his eyes and tried to move, and his spirit turned into an invisible wire, which quietly extended to all corners of the room. Suddenly, he felt a secret soul coming outside the window, Lu's spy. His heart was filled with a slight heart, and his heart turned like an electric light. In the past, I just wanted to protect myself, but now, this network allows me to see the overall situation. You can't be beaten, I have to take the initiative to attack. He controlled the wire and then collected it, and the spirit felt like it was hit hard, and it was everywhere. The ingenious point, good understanding. Go, Vivi has a romantic news and heard that the Lu family will conduct private competitions and invite newcomers to participate. Be careful, it is a trap. Ruilin thanked the old man and put away the runes. The mobile phone was shocked, and Weiwei texted, the factory was abandoned in the south of the city, Lu Jiaodong private competition, 8 o'clock tonight. Are you going? There is an inside story. He replied, go, join hands. He changed into a low-key dress, and he slipped out of the monk. The crowd was slapped in the ground, and the smell of sweat and the aroma of coffee were mixed. He traveled to the internet, hiding his breath, as if he was fishing into the water. The Changnan waste factory is hidden in the edge of the industrial area, with vines crawling in the outer wall and iron gates scattered. Pushing in, the lights are bright, the ring built at the moment is full of repairs, and the air is filled with burnt smell of collision between iron and spirit. Vivi walked out of the shadow, with a black skirt lightly swaying, passing a jade token, invitation letter, I've made it. The Liu family held this competition, and chose allies on the surface, but actually eliminated newcomers in slaughtering the machine. They revealed that the Liu Feng family controlled multiple underground channels, not only in the market, but also in the black market elixir and spirit transactions. The goal is to destroy the urban spirit, use fake secret realms to kill casual cultivators, and swallow resources. Ruilin browsed. Certificate? Wei Wei approached and said in a low voice, I have a lineman, and I am from the Alliance of Small and Medium-Sized Cultivators. They have been squeezed by the Liu family for many years and are willing to form an alliance. If you win, you can pull them. Her eyes were flashing, and she had trust. I believe in you, Ruilin. This is not only avenge, but a rise. At the beginning of the competition, the host, the eldest son of the Liu family, knocked on the jade bell. The newcomer group, the first round of battle, the winners will make the final decision. Awards, 100 top-grade spirit stones, plus the Liu family's secrets. The audience was sing, and more than 10 newcomers from the base of the singular cultivators were on the stage, most of whom were casual cultivators or children of small families. Ruilin entered the scene with a low pitch, and secretly spread the internet, sensing the flow of spiritual power around him. Suddenly, a red figure rushed in. It was a powerful young man. In the later stage of the Qingji period, the fist was like a flame. Boy, let it go. Ruilin avoided his body. Qingba's sword was obsessed but did not appear, and sneered in his heart, watch first. The war breaks out, the spirit light is in turmoil, and the palm is in full swing. Some people used fireballs to rush, and the air was burning. Some people called on the vines to surround them, and the ground was shaking. Ruilin wandered around, and the two opponents quietly blew up on the internet. With the help of the spirit, they collided with each other and fell to the ground. Wei Wei whispered in the audience, fuck beautifully. When he took action, a scattered cultivator came, and the poisonous fog was vomited and the fishy nose was stinking. Ruilin's breath was filled with excitement, and the fog was scattered and retreated, but he did not chase and compete with the rules, and it stopped when it hits. At the end of the first round, Ruilin advanced easily. Vivi pulled him to the corner and introduced 3 people, the tall and thin man named Chen Feng, a descendant of a small family, the short and fat woman Li Yun, a casual cultivator, the middle-aged Han son Zhang Fu, was a spirit master. Their eyes were exhausted and they brought flames. The Liu family has suppressed us too ruthlessly. The black market spirits were crushed by them, so we can't afford to take care of them. Chen Feng growled. Li Yun pointed, Vivi said you have a channel rune, crush Liu Feng. We are an alliance and share the information. Ruilin clenched his fists and said, okay, let's fight together. Let's open their words for the competition. When the competition came, Liu Feng did not appear, and replaced it with his cousin Liu Hao, the Liu family's legitimate inheritor, with a slight armor on his body, and his vigor was as strong as a mountain. The host announced, for Liu Hao, the winner will have a heavy treasure. Liu Hao smiled, boy, last time you hurt Liu Feng, I will wipe you out today. He pounded, and the lightning light condensed in his palm, and the thunder fell down. The thunder shook his ears and the ground on the ring cracked. Ruilin's heart was infuriated, and the thought of revenge was like a tide. The Liu family bullies others too much. He exercised his spirit, silently opened the runes, and the small secret door was hidden in his body. With a low growl, he summoned a new spirit beast. When he was repairing last night, the hibernation network entered the rune depth, accidentally opened a spiritual spring in the secret realm, conquering a golden-haired spirit monkey. The monkey was like a cat, her hair was flashing with golden light, and the middle stage spiritual pressure exploded. She rushed out of his shoulder, screamed, and grabbed Liu Hao's thunder palm with her claws. What? Spirit, the audience was resounding. Liu Hao's thunder light was torn apart by the monkey's claws, and the electric arc was 4 times. He took a step back and his face was blue. Impossible, how can the newcomer guard the beast? Ruilin took advantage of the opportunity, and the green waves were like water dragons, and the sword was full of energy. In conjunction with the spiritual monkey's flexible body technique, each person and one beast was slammed. The monkey bit the flickered body, Lu Hao's spiritual armor shattered and his blood was spotted, Ruilin's sword tip was slapped in the middle of his shoulder, and the spirit was poured in, sealing half of his veins. Lu Hao knelt down and said, give me life." The whole scene was silent, and then a discussion broke out, "Crush Lu Hao. This newcomer is quite big." Ruilin took the sword, the monkey turned back to his shoulders, licked his claws, like a winning army. He coldly watched Lu Hao, "Tell Lu Feng that the revenge begins. The Lu family is so sad that he can't succeed." Wei Wei came on stage and passed the heavy treasure, a treasure ring with a stone and elixir inside. Chen Feng and the other two went up, "The alliance has been established. We have linemen." After Lu Feng fled, he stocked up black market goods and Tibetan treasure spots in the eastern suburbs, and the pictures showed a wave of attacks. Ruilin pointed at the head and deepened the inner thoughts, "From the cultivation to the layout, this is my strategy." That night, the five of them sneaked into the eastern suburbs, and there was a secret warehouse. In the night, the patrol of the Lu family was patrolling outside the warehouse, and the air was smelly. On the road to explore the internet, Ruilin sensed the internal spiritual waves. Lu Feng is guarding himself, and in the later stages of the foundation, +2 foundation peaks. Wei Wei said in a low voice, "Information, he wants to use these resources to buy other aristocratic families and expand the network. Actively strike moment." Ruilin swept his hands, and the spirit monkey was the first to dive in. With one monkey claw, the two guards fell down. Chen Feng used earth escape and opened the door, Lian dispersed poison and covered it, Zhang Zi summoned the vines to block the road. In the warehouse, Lu Feng's clear box is full of spirit stones, fake secret realm jade talismans, and black market elixirs. He turned to see the people, his face turned pale. "You? How did you find them?" Lu Hao followed, roaring and roaring. A small climax exploded. Lu Feng pinched, the heat waves rolled under the fire network, Lu Hao's palm assisted, and the electric light flashed. Ruilin laughed, "Stop it." The monkey swung towards Lu Feng, and his claws were like wind, tearing apart the fire net. Ruilin swept his air, breaking the thunder palm, and piercing Lu Hao's chest. Chen Feng's earth thorn rose and fell Lu Hao. Lian shot out the poisonous pin, Lu Feng was hit, and he was moved violently. The lantern vines scatter and seal the retreat. Lu Feng knelt down, his mouth full of blood. "Impossible, you are such a local bun." Ruilin stepped on it, "Suppress? Make a dream." He destroyed the jade talisman, and the spirit stone pill medicine collected the storage ring. He obtained additional resources, a bottle of prickly pill, which could help allies improve. Brother Lu fled, the fire in the valley swept into the sky, and the sirens were hidden. Wei Wei patted him on the shoulder, "It's beautiful. The Lu family has been in a short time, and our alliance is in great strength." Ruilin touched the monkey, and the night wind blew, scent of smoke. He looked at the city lights and felt confident, the strategic layout is opened, and the road to peaks is not to be defeated. Lu Feng's bigger traits may be already being mourned, but next time, he will be in pain. Terms, 1249. Ruilin opened his home, and the smell of smoke from the night wind lingered and the fire of the warehouse remained on the corner of his clothes. The mother was already asleep, the living room was dimly lit, the TV was buzzing and the boring late-night drama was playing. He slid into the bedroom with his hands, locked his legs and sat down. The loot in the trash ring is piled up like a mountain, spirit stones, elixirs, and those fake secret realm jade talismans. The touch of ice sluts is hidden with the decay smell of Lu Jiayin. The monkey curled up on his shoulders, and his furry claws gently pressed his neck, as if he was scattering his head. "Little guy, I'm having sex tonight." Ruilin smiled lowly, squeaking the monkey's head. The monkey screamed, and his tail threw out a spiritual arc. "But I am worried about Joy." Lu Feng ran away, and the shock on the boy's face was as terrified as the firelight last night, and he couldn't do as much as his ambitions. Ruilin took out the rune of the passage, and the stone surface was moving like a heartbeat. He took a deep breath and moved the network's mind method. The spirit was marching like a wire, and the rune waves were stable. It should be advanced, the medium-sized secret realm, it should be opened. He opened his eyes and injected spirit. The runes were bright and golden, the air in the room was twisted, and a larger door shadow appeared, several times wider than the last secret realm. Pushing the door, the surrounding scenery changes. It is no longer a small forest, but a vast valley with fogs, ancient trees reaching the sky, a spring at the bottom of the valley gurgles, and the spirit in the air is as thick as a fog. One breath makes the numbness feel numb. The mountains are far away, and there are thunderheads, scattered winds and water sounds. The leaves on the ground rustle and rustle, moistening the smell of earth and sniffing the nose. The spirit beast in the valley was lying on the ground, and a giant python with its foundation was lying on the stone pillars, and its eyes were staring at it like a light. Ruilin's heart was tightened, and the monkey was beating down, and the claws were swollen up. The python twisted, the flap rubbed with a harsh sound, and the tail swept like a whip to take air. When he came to the scene, the green waves were as hot as the waves of water, and the smell of blood burst out on the python in the middle of the bird. The battle was fierce, and Ruilin's spiritual power was moving in the bottle and was able to move easily. He recalled the leeching teachings and strengthened the stakes. The dantian exploded like a volcano, the spirit exploded, and the sword became more pure. The monkey cooperated tacitly and teared the python's throat with one claw. The giant beast collapsed and turned into a spirit and rushed into other bodies. The stone at the bottom of the valley lit up, and a volume of secret books on the golden edge appeared, Shantian Sword. High-level drama, recording the art of the transformation of drama and the transformation of the drama. Ruilin's brain rushes into the sea, and its power is like a river shattering the embankment, directly rushing to the foundation and peak. The muscles are tight, the vision is clear, and the sound of the ears is like the ears. He tried to make a move, and the breath condensed into a blue dragon shadow, shattering a huge rock, and the debris flew, bringing the wind. It's a peak. The inner heart is so simple, the power is like a double-blade sword. I used to only protect myself, but now, this responsibility is heavy. The door opened again and returned to the room, and Leeching's figure was already revealed. The old man looked like a torch and stroked his head and said, "Boy, his understanding is amazing. But the peak of the primordial peak is not the end. The road to immortality is strong and the heart is heavy." He pointed his finger at Ruilin's eyebrows, and a clear mind method was poured into the heart of the Tao. This is the worldly mind method, which teaches people to balance power and morality, and prevent the invasion of the inner demons. Li Cheng said in a low voice, "The Lu family is like a cancer, and the resources are damaged and countless scattered cultivators are harmed. Your rise is not for personal grudges, but for the right way. Remember, if the power is unresponsible, it is like a wild beast devouring people. From now on, the slim practices as a friend in maintaining urban balance." Ruilin's heart was shocked, and his inner heart was like a tide. In the past, I just wanted to break Lu Feng, but now, this responsibility allows me to see the overall situation. It is not about crushing the pressure by force, but about leading the crowd. He bowed and said, "Teacher teaches me, remember it in your heart." The morning light is rising, and Ruilin's mobile phone is vibrating. Wei Wei called, "Ruilin, after the operation last night, the Lu family was in trouble. They called a joint force in the north of the city to suppress the enemy and heard that they had 2 small and medium-sized families. The information shows that Lu Feng was in charge of his own team, and there were 5 people in the Qingji Taifeng. Are you coming?" Her voice was filled with conscience. Ruilin tightened his phone. "Come on. Wei Wei, you should officially join me. The city news is all for me, we are in charge." After a moment of silence on the phone, Wei Wei smiled lightly. "I'm fool, that's long ago. From the day you took the runes, I'll bet on you. Come on Moin, I'll give you a full report. The dark lines of the underground auction club are all in the palm of the Lu family. They tied up the Tianshan Alliance, the power of cultivating immortals in the middle level of the city, and the painting of the great secret realm, swallowing up all the wandering spirituals." Ruilin's heart sank and turned to the ink. In the tea house, jasmine fragrance roamed, Wei Wei sat at the old wooden table, her legs crossed under her black skirt, and her jade hand passed a jade scribble. It's all in it. The Lu family traded the black market treasure with the Tianxian League, killing hundreds of newcomers. Lu Feng is a bridge, and his father Lu Tianxiong is the old man outside the Tianxian League. Her eyes were gentle, and she said, Ruilin, you have changed. From that rustic bun to the current leader. Last night, I looked at you, and I must make people's hearts move. Ruilin took the jade scribble, his fingers touched her without any intention, and his fingertips were as dirty as the current. He smiled and said, Vivi, thank you for trusting me. From now on, we are not just allies, but partners. She sipped tea with a slight red face. Well, trust. I'll have it from the day of the auction. Let's go. The north of the city, they started at 8 o'clock. As the sun sets west, the ruins in the north of the city are like ghost towns, with the sound of the walls and sounds of silences, mingling with chaotic iron and scented earth. Ruilin entered alone, spread out and felt the breath of Lu's family. The spirit monkey is hidden on his shoulders, Vivi is lying on his side, and Chen Feng and the other two are ambushing the back. Suddenly, the spirit was pouring like a tide. Lu Feng showed up with his team, his face stained with blood, his face was full of color. Boy, the hidden treasure has been destroyed. Do you think you can escape? The eldest son of the Tianxian Alliance, the old master of the Dharma, will suppress you today. The 5 masters behind him were the foundation peaks, the spiritual light flash, the central Dharma buzzing, and the space was locked. Lu Feng smiled and said, Garden Bun, kneel down and take the runes, and you will be killed. Ruilin walked out of the shadow and sneered, Lu Feng, your family has tied the Tianxian Alliance, and it has broken the spirit, causing the scattered cultivators to be like jackals. It is so arrogant. Lu Feng roared, looking for death. Go! The 5 trusts came, their palms were like swords, the fireballs and thunder networks were scattered, and the air was burning and hot and distorted. Ruilin's mind method moves, guarding the Taoist style and calming the mind, and the new secret book Shantian sword explodes. He yelled in a low voice, the air transforms into shape. Qingba burst out, his spirit condensed, and the air was like thousands of green silks bursting, turning into a swish of swords. Room. The first person said that the fireball shattered and his chest was filled with breath. He cried and fell to the ground, and the blood fog was sprayed. The second man came to meet the thunder palm, but was swept by the sword network, and he was cut off and knelt down and begged for a gift. Lu Feng's face turned pale. Impossible. You are the skeleton? He pinched the spirit beast of the family, and a roaring bear the skeleton rose and rolled up the soil with his claws. Ruilin was determined, I will not give up for my responsibility. The spirit monkey is swept out, and the claws are tearing the bear's skin. Ruilin is swept back again, Wan Jianzhuozong. The drama gathered into a giant drama. The snail was smashed down, and the law cracked, and the waves shook and flew. Their bones were broken and they couldn't get up. Lu Feng trusted the 2 people and jointly used the joint attack, and the spirit light was like a chain locked towards Ruilin. Wei Wei flashed from the side, and the dagger and silver light pierced a chain. Ruilin, back up. Chen Feng's earth thorn rose, Li Yun's poisonous fog spread, and Zhang Zi's vines blocked the road. Ruilin laughed loudly, and a sword broke, and the sword pierced Lu Feng's shield. Crack! The shield was broken. Lu Feng retreated with blood, and his arrogance in his eyes turned into fear. Bao Sheng. Tianxian Alliance will not let you go. Ruilin's sword pointed to his throat and said coldly, you are trustworthy, the Lu family is arrogant, and it's over here. Say, the Tianxian Alliance is a great plan. Lu Feng shook. They draw the great secret realm, swallow the urban spirit, and open the door with runes. The trust was scattered by the internet and guarded by the spirit monkey. Ruilin took the sword. Vivi approached, her eyes flashed and trusted. You are alone, don't be stunned. Lu Feng's face is relieved. She touched his arm lightly, and sparks quietly arose in the interaction. Ruilin pointed, Vivi, I have a lot to know about your information. The Lu family has joined the Tianxian Alliance, and this conflict has been upgraded. The middle level of the immortal cultivation world is deeper. In the night, they arrested prisoners and left the ruins, and the sirens were hidden. Ruilin looked at the city lights and thought to himself, I have to shoulder the responsibility, so I can expand my influence. To conquer the casual cultivators, they must be powerful before joining the Tianxian alliance. Qinfeng said in a low voice, Boss, we will follow you. In the circle of casual cultivators, more than 10 people have asked to join you when they hear your affairs. Ruilin clenched his fists and said, Okay, from now on, the Lu family is not the only conflict, but also the middle level. Vivi, next stop, the casual cultivators gather together. She smiled, together. Feng blew his hair, responsibility was like fire, and the road ahead was ignited. Number of words, 1248. When Ruilin held Lu Feng's faith and left the ruins of the North City, the night wind had already turned, and the moisture of the waves far away were scattered. The city's lights pulled into a long shadow behind him. Vivi walked on her shoulders, her black skirt swaying like a wave of ink under the moonlight. She said in a low voice, These prisoners are worth the money. If the disciples from the Lu family ask for contact points from the Tianxian alliance, they can stop them. After Qinfeng and the other two were escorted, they were excited while wearing exhaustion on their faces. Lian wiped the poisonous penis. Boss, this wave of action has caused a scattered cultivator circle. More than a dozen people contacted me last night and said they wanted to hang out with you. Ruilin was pointed at the head, and his heart was filled with tide. From the local bun to the leader, this road was too fast. But he was responsible, and he touched the hair of the monkey on his shoulders, and the monkey squeaked, as if he was echoing. Back at the Madian tea house, the hot tea of the hot jasmine has been prepared, and the jasmine fragrance is sniffed. Wei Wei dismissed Qinfeng and the others. Please confine the prisoners first, and integrate tomorrow. She turned to Ruilin, her eyes softly, Where are you? Behind the peak of the Qingji, there is a sign of elixir. The runes of the passage are urging you to break through, right? Don't force yourself, I'll help you to watch. Ruilin held the rune tightly, and the stone surface was as hot as a fight. Well, the battle last night made me stuck on the edge. The Lu family would not be good at scrupulous, and the total attack would probably not be far away. He sat down with his legs and swallowed a prickly pill from the spoils of the war, and his power was like fire to ignite the Dantian. Vivi sat next to her, with the dagger placed on her knees, and the policeman swept out the window. The cultivation begins, and the spirit whirlpool accelerates, and the trunks run like rivers. Suddenly, the bottle was like an iron wall, and his heart was tightened. From the peak of the foundation to the golden elixir, the mind and mind need to be united, otherwise it will explode. I am alone in my heart, I can't fall, this is not just for myself, but for my allies and for my mother. It was the key, the air was distorted, and the figure of the true heart was condensed. The old man had a sleek hair and carried the fragrance of grass in the forest. Boy, I'm here. The ultimate secret of the runes is revealed at this moment. He pointed at the runes with his fingers, and the golden light burst out. Ruilin's brain was like a skylight opening. The runes are not a single key, but an ancient Tao bridge of heaven, and finally the shape can merge all things and turn into immortals. It can swallow the Dharma treasure, integrate it into one's own body, and enhance it infinitely. But it requires the foundation of the golden elixir to be able to move forward. Li Cheng's humor, teaching the fusion of the mind, Rongtian Si. Ruilin moves, the power of the spirit is like a melting furnace, and the golden light of the Dantian begins to appear. Wei Wei was shocked, Golden Dan breath. Ruilin, have you succeeded? Gee! The thunder beads in the Dantian were filled with force, and its power condensed into a golden elixir, like a pearl, radiating brilliant golden light. Ruilin's eyes were slim, his spirit in his eyes was visible as a reality, his body was as light as feathers, and his power was soaring several times. In the early stage of the golden elixir, the great realm of cultivating immortals rose. He punched his teacup and shattered, causing the legs to shake. Golden pill. Ruilin murmured, his heart turning like a broken heart. I am no longer a newcomer. This power allows me to see that the protected border, family and allies, will be in danger. The innate point, fusing the Dharma treasure, starts with the Qingba sword. The mind guards the golden elixir and leads the rune wire to the skeleton. Ruilin took out the spirit drama, the body of the sword was buzzing, and the spirit monkey rod sat on the stone turtle. The golden light of the golden elixir is like a bridge, the rune thread extends, and the green wave elixir turns into a green light and merges into the dantian. The sword was blended with the golden elixir. When he thought, a blue sword light condensed in his palm. His power doubled and his air was cracked. Li Cheng continued to say, in the war spoils, there is an iron-armored bear spirit core, which can be melted into body armor. The false secret realm jade talisman contains space fragments, which can be melted into the object world. Ruilin merged according to his words, and many magic treasures turned into golden elixirs to nourish. The spirit core becomes golden armor, covering the body like a dragon elixir. The space fragments expand the object ring, the inside is like a small world, and the spirit stone elixir is piled up like a mountain. The spirit monkey also benefits, with its hair transformed into gold, and its combat power is catching up with the early stage of the golden pill. Wei Wei's eyes lit up, monster-level growth. Now, integrate resources. All my underground channels are for you. The city information network and the contact points for random cultivators have attracted 20 people last night. Qin Feng and the others are responsible for training. What about the new power, the Channel Alliance? Use runes as the flag to compete with the aristocratic family. She passed a jade plaque with runes engraved with runes, memory names and maps. Ruilin took over and shook her hand tightly. Vivi, thank you. This alliance is not only to attack the Liu family, but to slap the waist for the casual cultivator. She had a slightly red face and slid her hands and smiled. Stop being numb. The Liu family's information is coming. They are launching a general attack and will burst into the ink den tomorrow night, thinking that our main force is in the warehouse. Late at night, Ruilin returned home. The mother was sleeping soundly, and the kitchen still had the smell of rice for late-night snacks. He gently recommended the room door, and the moonlight outside the window was like water. When the golden elixir was first formed, he sat down to cultivate his body and merged with the Dharma treasure. His spiritual power was as stable as a mountain. Inner's heart, from now on, I just wanted to rise up and protect myself. Now, the position of this leader makes me understand that power is for all living beings. He silently guarded the Taoist heart, with his brain flashing his smile, Vivi's trust, and Qin Feng's eyes. The circle of allies has expanded and protected the network. At dusk the next day, the wind outside the ink door changed color. The Liu family attacked the enemy, and Liu Tianxiong led his army, the old monster in the middle stage of Jindan. Liu Feng followed him, his face was as dark as death. 50-year-old Liu Jia Jingjian and Jindan cultivators surrounded the tea house. The spirit pressure came like a tide, the air was twisted, the road lights burst, and the fragments fell to the ground. Liu Tianxiong's long-robed key, and his power stick flashed black light. Boy, can you hook up and scattered cultivators destroy my basic career? Tianshan Alliance has been approved. You will be able to destroy your Channel Alliance. Runes will be my. Liu Feng smiled and said, Tubozi, you are dead this time. All the family law schools are open. The Dharma room was started, the ground around the tea house cracked, and the black fog rose, like a ghost domain cap. Wei Wei shook her hair out from inside, and her black skirt was stained with dust. Ruilin, they are many people, 30 bases, 10 golden elixirs. Qin Feng and the other two protected their wings. Li Yun was poisonous and sprayed, and Zhang Zi was like a net. The battle broke out, the Liu family was like a wolf and a sheep, the fireball and thunder network were scattered, and the heat and fishy wind blew. Qin Feng's earth thorn rose and held a wave, but the golden pill enemy's palm power was as strong as a mountain, causing the ally to retreat. A casual cultivator was hit and fell to the ground with blood. Ruilin came from the top of the tea house, and the Jindan spiritual pressure exploded, like the morning sun breaking through the mist. Liu family, it's over. He growled, his golden armor covered his body, and the green wave scorpion condensed from his palm, and his power was as powerful as a dragon after the fusion. Lu Tianxiong snorted coldly, early stage of the golden pill? Looking for death. The power stick blew, and the black light turned into a giant python and swept it, and the smell and poisonous atmosphere spread. Ruilin's mind and spirit are united, and he keeps the Tao and moves, and he is like one Jianji zone. The sword's breath gathered into hundreds of green lights and shot out like an arrow raining. Shadow. The black python shattered, and the Lu family's frontman fell to the ground, bloody and bloody. Lu Feng's face turned pale. Dad, he has the golden elixir? Lu Tianxiong roared angrily, summoning the family to protect the mountain, and the black fog condensed into a giant shield to hold Lu Yu. But Ruilin was approaching, and the power of the golden elixir was infused with one palm, and the armor power that fused the spirit core was like a mountain collapse. Right. The shield was broken. Tianxiong took a step back, humming in his mouth, and cracks of his power stick spread. The battle is reversed. Ruilin is like a tiger entering a flock of sheep, and the razors swept in the spirit stones in the gallery that fused the space fragments exploded, turning into a spiritual curtain and attacking. The Lu family's spirit collapsed, the sacred man knelt down and begged for the sacrificial pills, and the golden elixir cultivator tore his armor apart by the claws of the monkey. Wei Wei's dagger flashed, and his partner Chen Feng suppressed the side wings. Ruilin, fuck the old guy. Lu Tianxiong had red eyes and summoned the final killing move Tianxian Black Flame. The black fire is like the sea, burning the air, and the hot waves twisting the vision. Ruilin was determined in his heart, I will not retreat as an ally. The runes of the channel will eventually move forward, the golden elixir is like a bridge, and the network wires are spread out, and the legal treasures are developed in fusion. The green wave turns into a giant blade, opening the black flame, the golden armor sways, and the spirit monkey bites the arm of Tianxiong on his feet. In the last blow, he pointed at Tianxiong's eyebrows, and the power of the golden elixir entered like thunder. Ah! Tianxiong cried, his body shattered, his stud fell to the ground, and he couldn't stand up. Boy! Channel Alliance. Our Lu family is convinced. Lu Feng saw the situation, his legs were soft in his knees, and his former arrogance turned into a slight stream. Brother Ruilin, it's wrong. The family has collapsed, please take in the remaining party. The whole scene was silent, and the owner of the Lu family was far away from the house. The fire was shining across the sky. Ruilin's website, which had detonated their spiritual warehouses. The mansion was like a sea of fire collapsed, and the smoke was rolled up. As refreshing as electric current, Ruilin coldly watched Lu Feng kneel down and admit that he was wrong. You bullied me like a dog. Now, if the remaining party is surrendering, you need to be loyal to the Channel Alliance. The severity will stop. Lu Feng knocked on his head. Yes. Tianxian Alliance. They are eyeing you. During the climax, the Lu family joined forces and the alliance reached 100 people. Wei Wei approached and wiped the dust on his face. Reversal, Brother Yao. All resources are collected, the Master House Dharma Library, I have cleared it, many top-grade spirit tools, let's divide it. Li Chang's figure was hidden, and the whisper, boy, the road to the golden elixir is open, and the runes are fusion deeper. But the Tianxian Alliance is a mid-level giant, and the new opponent is coming. Lin Xian, the head of the Lin family, has paid attention to your rise and sent spies to enter the circle of casual cultivators. Be careful, cultivating immortals is like chess, and a piece of errands is full of robbers. Ruilin stood still while breathing, looking at the sea of fire, and his heart reflected, this battle not only defeated the Lu family, but my transformation. From personal revenge to leadership, protecting the family is no longer empty talk. The circle of allies has expanded, and my mother's security network has been established. But the new enemy Lin family fell quietly. He turned around and said to Wei Wei, integrate the party and train. Tianxian Alliance, Lin family. Channel Alliance, fight. The night wind blew away the smoke, and the city lights remained, with a ray of light belonging to him. The road ahead is evil, but the leader's heart is already in vain. Number of words, 1247. Ruilin stood on the second floor of Madian Tea House, overlooking the city in the night. The Liu family party has been initially integrated, and the flag of the Channel Alliance has quietly spread in the circle of casual cultivators. Last night the Sea of Fire was still ripped with smoke in the Liu family's old house. Wei Wei leaned against the column, her black skirt was lightly swaying, holding a cup of slim spirit tea in her hand, and her eyes were filled with a calm light. Ruilin, that boy Liu Feng was shocked by you. He sneaked out of the city last night and defected to the Lin family. But the Tianxian League was moving faster. Their spies had entered the underground market and tried to reorganize the chain of shattering. She passed a jade silhouette with a low voice as night wind. This is across-city information. I used the old channel to dig from Jiangcheng and Haining. The Lin family is a hidden family with low surfaces, which actually controls the trade in the northern spirits. Join forces with Liu Feng to cut off the supplementary lines of our South City. Go smash the field? Ruilin took over the jade scribble, and a picture and a name appeared in his brain. Lin Xian, the head of the Lin family, was good at growing up in the late stage of the Jinnan period. The family hid in the ancient temple in the suburbs of the city, secretly traded fake spirit stones, and killed small and medium-sized families. His heart felt warm, and the power in the golden elixir moved slightly. Smash. Can't let them breathe. Vivi, you sit in the Town Channel Alliance. I go to explore the large secret realm to improve your strength. She pointed and touched his arm. Be careful, there is an old monster in the Lin family sitting in the town. After returning, we will join the small family in Jiangcheng to fight the severity of the underground market. The cultivators are waiting for your leader. When the home was opened, my mother's snoring sound came from the living room, and the fragrance of the vegetables was still scattered in the air. Ruilin slipped into the bedroom, locked the door, and took out the runes. The stone surface was as warm as a living thing, the power of the golden elixir was injected, the runes were buzzing, the air in the room was twisted like a whirlpool, and a magnificent shadow of the door appeared, more magnificent than ever before. He took a deep breath and pushed the door in. The surrounding scenery changes, it is no longer a valley, but a vast ancient land without any side. The dome is like ink, the stars are hidden, and under the feet is a floating stone platform, which is surrounded by the deep and purplish thunder clouds. The spirit was so heavy that it turned into a fog rain, and the sensation was as numb as a thorn on the body. The thunder and birds were swaying from far away, and the slightest metal collision was filled with the air. This large secret realm is like a staircase in ancient war scenes, with war marks engraved on the broken stone pillars, and there is no trace of swords left. The spirit monkey was under the shoulders, and the golden retriever flashed, warning that the bird was low. Ruilin's movement turns into heaven, the golden elixir is like a melting furnace, and he senses a strong spiritual pressure deep inside the guardian beast. A giant thunder-winged horn leaned down from the cloud. The mid-stage golden elixir blasted like a thunder sea, its wings flapped and raised a wild wind, its feathers cut the air like blades, and its fishy wind swayed. Ruilin's heart was filled with tears, and his heart was as if he was thunderous. The Liu family has been destroyed, and the Lin family is approaching, and this battle cannot be eliminated. He summoned the sword to merge the sword light, and the power of the green wave turned into a giant blade to meet it. Shad! The sword blade was in the middle of the wings, sparks were 4 times, the wings were shaking its ears, and the blood feathers fell like rain. The battle was fierce, the giant horn claws grabbed him, Ruilin flew away, the stone platform shattered, and the waves shocked him to hurt. The monkey was stomping on the monkey, and the claws tear the abdomen, and the monkey turned around and walked into the deep edge of the penis. Ruilin took advantage of the wings, the golden elixir power was fully opened, and the network wire was secretly spreading, urging the wings and pulling them. Still. Lei Yun exploded, and his body was penetrated by the sword, disintegrating into a spirit-like craziness. He absorbed the essence, the golden elixir of the Dantian accelerated, and the bottle head was easy to move, the middle stage of the golden elixir. The power of the spirit is like a river dike, stable and violent, the body is light, and the lightning in the field is controllable like a toy. The heart is twisted like a fog dispersed, the fire of revenge has been burned. Now, this force pushes me to the peak, and the battle is not only about defending the land, but also expands the border and protects the way. The stone fortress in the deep secret realm lit up, and an ancient artifact appeared, Xiantian glass. The mirror is an ancient style, and the edge is engraved with runes of the heavenly way. The center is rippled like a galaxy, scattering without any power. Ruilin reached out to touch, the magic weapon buzzed the Lord, and the brain stormed into the Austrian. The sword of heaven can reflect the enemy, transform into the clone, devour the power, and finally turn into the eyes of the way of heaven, and see through all things. When he tried, the shadows in his palm flashed, and the surrounding spirits gathered, turning into clone protection. It is as refreshing as the current swells. This magic weapon is not only a killer, but also a strategic sword. When I realized the truth, my inner soul deepened. I used to think that practicing immortality was a tool for revenge, but now, it is a ladder to pursue the pursuit of no movement. Lin family? Tianxian alliance? Their traits will be hidden in the mirror. The door opened again and returned to the room, and Li Qing's figure was already revealed. The old man's eyes were like a torch. Boy, I got the magic weapon, and the middle stage of the golden pill is stable. But the Lin family is not comparable to the Lu family. They are hidden in ancient temples, and their methods are connected to the sky. Before leaving, I remember the reflection of Yan Tian, not only killing enemies, but also the key to breaking the deadlock. Ruilin bowed and said, "Teacher, thank you for your teachings. On this road, I see you as a father." Li Qing smiled and patted him on the shoulder. "Teacher and disciple, it is deep. When the crisis comes, I appear." The figure faded, and the room returned to peace and quiet, leaving only the low-headed carriage outside the window. At dusk the next day, Ruilin entered the ancient temple in the suburbs of the city alone. The ancient trees outside the wall are magnificent, and the wind blows the leaves like devil's cry, and the moist smell and hidden pressure in the air are filled with the dampness of moss. On the road to explore the path, he felt the inside, the old affairs of the Lin family, Lu Fengzhang hidden in it. Push the door open, the lights in the hall are swaying, the 10 golden elixirs sit in a long wing. Lin Xian sits upright on the platform in the center, with a long robe and a dragon, breathing like a mountain. Lu Feng knelt beside him, his face turned pale. "Uncle Lin, that boy from the Channel League is here. We join forces, swallow his runes, and destroy the spirit of the South City." Lin Xian sneered, "Boy, the Lu family's slaughter dares to make a suggestion? But your information is useful. Tianxian League Su No, after the Channel Alliance, Northern Trade gave us a share of the pie." Zhou Yuan's chief echoed, and someone smiled. "Ruilin is not as good as a local bun, dares to challenge the Lin family?" As soon as the family leader opened up, he flew to smoke. Ruilin appeared from the shadow and said coldly, "Superhe, a big appetite. Lu Feng, did you fight with the Lin family and block the underground market? When everyone said that the fake stone transaction of Tianxian League has harmed many casual cultivators?" The whole palace was stunned. Lin Xian stood up, and the spirit burst out, "Boy, I'm in the Lin family, looking for death." He said. The ancient silence method was activated, the runes on the ground lit up, turned into a golden net and turned towards Ruilin, and the air condensed like a steel. Lu Feng smiled and said, "Garden Bunzi, you're done this time." Ruilin was in a state of turmoil, and the magical artifact Xiantian glass moved, and the mirror in his palm flashed, reflecting the weak Austrian. Lin Xian's weakness is reflected in the lens, the Dantian is stubborn, and the middle way of the air is on the stone pillar on the high platform. The surroundings attacked, and the fire palm and thunder fist arrived, and the heat and fishy wind swayed. "Shadow clone!" Ruilin shouted softly, and the artifact differentiated 3 virtual shadows, and Chi greeted him. The clone's body swept and broke through the golden net, the deity flashed its body, and with one palm hit the stone pillar, shut. The air cracked, and the waves shook and flew over the 2 long ones. They fell to the ground with blood and bones cracked and sounded harsh. Lu Feng's fireball came, and the Ruilin glass shone, and the fire retaliated. Lu Feng screamed and was injured and knelt down and couldn't stand up. "No, impossible." Lin Xian's face turned green. "A magical artifact?" Where is it? He summoned the spirit beast of the family, and a golden dragon golden elixir roared in the later stage, and the flakes rubbed like thunder and the fishy atmosphere spread. Ruilin was determined in his heart, and his strategic vision was like a mirror, not only killing the head of the family, but also cutting off his roots. He was so powerful that the glare was swept away, and the giant beast shrank and mourned. The clone was jammed and the lens was weak, and one person was stabbed in the dantian and died, the other was sealed by the sword, and he was stolen and wanted to give in. The entire palace leader was shocked, and Lin Xian had red eyes. Boy, you destroy my Lin family's foundation. He danced with his stud, and the black light came like a tide. Ruilin laughed, the Yin is exposed. The Lin family and Lu Feng party have joined forces to join the alliance, and they should be faked stones, and they will be hit by the face. The light directly hit Lin Xian's dantian weak point. With a crack, Lin Xian's body shattered, his stud fell to the ground, and he knelt on the ground and bleeding. The pleasure burst out, Ruilin's sword hit his throat, and the cold eyes said to the crowd, Lin family, from now on, loyal to the Channel Alliance. Lu Feng, roll. Your party, take as many weapons as possible. Lu Feng got up and fled, and the leader knocked on his head. The head of the family is convinced, and there is no enemy in the magical artifact. Ruilin collected the mirror and revealed the jade certificate, fake spirit stone transaction records, and the whole palace was silent. The Lin family party surrendered and the Channel Alliance was re-established. It is worth fighting. The spirit outside the hall is like a mountain of pressure. The old monster of the Jindan Feng Feng of Tianxian Alliance burst into pieces. The black-robed figure broke into the door, and his palm was like a sea, die by the Lin family. The black light rushed towards Ruilin, and his air was twisted. Ruilin's heart was tight and a new opponent appeared. This old monster Yuan baby was in a mess in the early stage. Suddenly, the air condensed, and the old man appeared. His long robe was floating, and he swept out with his sleeves. Boy, the teacher is here. The sleeves were as wind as a mountain, holding the black light, and the waves shook the old monster. The old man growled, Tianxian Alliance, it's too much. His fingers were pointed out, and Daoguang entered the old monster's shoulders, and blood rose. The old monster shouted and retreated. Are you a clever person in the world? He fled, leaving a ruthless saying, Ruilin, Tianxian Alliance remembers you. The middle-level war has begun. The crisis was resolved, and he patted Ruilin's shoulder with sincerity. Boy, I have grown up. The magical artifact, the Olympics have been enlightened, and the strategic vision is open. The teacher and disciple have deep feelings, and now we have shoulders. Ruilin's eyes were warm. My teacher, thank you. The old man smiled and faded away. Wei Wei came and brought Jiangqing information. Small and medium-sized families seek alliances and fight against the failure of the underground market. Ruilin, are we going to the north? He pointed at the starry sky outside the hall and thought to himself, the road to the peak is coming. The new enemy Tianxian Alliance is about to ignite the fire of war, but the Channel Alliance is no longer in ruins. With the Lin family's resources in hand, the alliance is expanded online. The night wind blows, and the scent of nitrazine smell is getting clearer and clearer despite the difficulty of the road ahead. When Ruilin opened the ancient wall, the night wind blew the incense and bloody atmosphere in the wall. The Lin family leader knelt in a row, his face as white as paper. Lin Xian lowered his head and said, the leader of Ruilin, the Lin family has been loyal to the Channel Alliance now. The family spirits in the Dharma library are all for you. Lu Feng had already slipped away, and the back of the boy's wolf was still flashing in Ruilin's brain, like a dog from the family. He snorted coldly, it is proven that allegiance is true. Vivi, bring people to clear resources, and I will go to the stable realm. the Lin family will send people to contact the small and medium-sized families in Jiangcheng to expand the alliance network. Wei Wei lights her head, her black skirt is gently slapped in the moonlight, and there is a gentle look in her eyes. Well, be careful. The old monsters in Tianxian League escaped last night, and they will not be rude. Jiangcheng information, I have already posted, and there will be an echo tomorrow. Chen Feng and the other two escort the prisoners to follow, and Lian said in a low voice, "Boss, this wave of resources from the Lin family has made us train. The circle of casual cultivators has spread, you have become a legend." Ruilin patted the head of the spirit monkey, and the monkey squeaked on his shoulders. They left the ancient temple, and the neon lights in the city flashed far away, with sirens' plots breaking through the night sky, but the undercurrents in the world of cultivation are the real storm. It was early morning when I returned to Madian Tea House. Ruilin slipped into the secret room of the back hall, locked the stone door, and the interior was decorated with ancient halls, and the wall was filled with runes. He sat down with his legs and took out the spoils of war, the several broken runes in the Lin family's house, with ancient patterns engraved on the surface, and they met as passage runes. The spiritual power in the middle stage of the golden pill changed, and the heavenly movement ignited like a melting furnace. He pressed a rune into his palm. The golden light burst out, and the talisman culture was integrated into the golden elixir as a wire. The power was like a river dike, and the elixir was expanded through the elixir. The golden elixir in the dantian accelerated, and the sound of thunder was hidden. Then the second and third. With each fused one, the power surged, the muscles felt heavy, the spirit was as visible as the body, and the air was filled with a faint smell of electric light and incense. The cultivation lasted for 3 hours, and when Ruilin was slimming his eyes, the golden elixir had condensed like a pearl, and the spiritual power directly penetrated the golden elixir in the late stage. The sense of power flowed like a tide. He slapped it out with his palm, and the wall of the secret room was shaken and the dust fell down. Inner heart shortness, from the early stage of the golden elixir to the late stage, this fusion is like cerebralizing the fetus and changing the bones. The text of the Lin family rune is an ancient fragment, and now it is all for me. But it is more vigilant. Tianxian Alliance is on the target, Lu Feng's species will not stop. Suddenly, the rune in the passage was in motion, and a new door shadow appeared, the deep layer of the large secret realm. He pushed the door and the surrounding scenery turned into a deserted wasteland, with the wind and sand roars, the sound of the roars and the sound of metal collision. In the middle of the wasteland, a group of spirit beasts lie on the plates: iron-armored wolf packs, thunderhorn deer, and windblade foxes, dozens of golden elixir-level golden elves, and silver pup lion kings, and the golden elves' peaks breathe like a mountain. "Come on!" Ruilin growled, fusing the spirit after the rune to spread out, and circulating the internet lines as if they were dispersed online. The Lion King roared and snatched the sand with his claws, and his nose was covered with fishy wind. Ruilin summoned the spirit monkey, and the golden-haired monkey claws flashed with the flash of the claws, his own sword light condensed, and the Xiantian lens reflected the weakness of the Lion King, the lower spirit core. As soon as the lens flashed, the sword pricked straight, and with a puff, the Lion King AI fell to the ground, the soul core disintegrated, turning into essence and storming into other bodies. The wolf pack and the deer are restless, and Ruilin's new enlightenment of the Beast King's mind method, derived from Runawi, can influence the spirit beast with the power of the spirit. His golden elixir was fully exposed, like a king surrendering, the wilderness stopped, 10 spirit beasts were low and surrendered, and their wildness turned into loyalty in their eyes. The army has come true. The door opened again, returned to the secret room, and the figure of Lichen condensed. The old man stroked his sternly, his eyes were like an ancient well. "Boy, the integration is smooth, and the golden elixir is stable in the later stage. The spirit army is good, but cultivating immortals is not a waste of energy, but the way to balance." He pointed his finger at Ruilin's eyebrows, and a clear mind method poured into it, Tianheng, the ultimate mind method, which teaches people to adjust the spirit power and the world, prevent resources from being damaged, and promotes harmony between the city's immortal cultivation. Li Cheng said in a low voice, "The urban cultivator is like a chaotic world, and the aristocratic families have destroyed countless scattered cultivators. You rise up, not for dominance, but for the balance. The Lu family and Lin family have been buried, but the ancient ultimate passage in the Tianxian Alliance diagram, that passage connects the core of the world of cultivation. It can control all the spirits and cover the balance of the mortal dust. Be careful, this chant involves ancient and modern times, and runes are your key. Ruilin's heart was shocked, and his inner soul changed like a scattered. I used to only crush my opponent, but now, this mental method allows me to see the overall situation. The balance of cultivation is the way to last a long time. It cannot destroy this secret world. He bowed and said, Master, I will explore the ultimate passage. Li Cheng faded away. Crisis comes naturally, wise, brave and virtuous. As the sky was dawn, Wei Wei pushed the door in her hand, holding the porridge of hot trench. The porridge was fragrant and the sweetness of osmanthus flowers were filled with. Ruilin, is your breath stronger? Later in the Jindan? She sat down, her eyes flashing with a flash. The Jiangcheng family has heard the news, and she wants to join the alliance. But bad news, Lu Feng's party is in charge of 3 small and medium-sized families, setting up a stunning forest in the eastern suburbs, intercepting us to replenish the lines. According to the story, Lu Feng led his own team and pulled the hidden weapon of the Tianxian League, wanting to turn the board in a battle. Ruilin stood up and tightened her hand. Let's go, I'll kill them. This is a revenge. Wei Wei's face was slightly red, and she pulled her hands without force. Well, together. Don't forget, I'm not a vase. They took Chen Feng and the other 2 and rushed to the east suburbs. The mountains and forests are deep, with fog surging, feet falling and leaves rustling, and rosin and implicit air are filled with air. On the road to explore the path, Ruilin sensed the circle of misfortune. Lu Feng brought 50 people, the elixir of the elixir of the elixir, and the heads of the 3 generations of families helped the elixir in the midterm. Suddenly, the spirit pressure exploded, and the arrows in the shadows of the trees were like locusts, catching fireballs and thunder networks, and the heat waves were swept. Boy, come and die. Lu Feng rushed out of the forest, and his face was twisted like a ghost. He held a hidden weapon of the Tianxian Alliance, the black bead, and his spirit was like a tide. The Lin family's resources are mine. Channel Alliance, slap. The 3 heads of the family smiled, one summoned the vines like a net, one thunder palms and one slaughtered the fog, and the other stinking the poisonous fog, smelling smelly and pungent. Chen Feng's earth thorn raised an arrow, Li Yun's poisonous spear retaliated, Zhang Zi's vine fought against him, but the enemy was small, and he added the sacred image of the team to live. Ruilin sneered, Lu Feng, you are a family in the neighborhood. Are you looking at the picture? Make a dream. His golden elixir was completely exposed in the later period, like a mountain collapse and a crack in the earth, shaking the trees and trees. Wei Wei's figure flashed, and the spirit under her black skirt exploded. It turned out that she had been raising her peak for a long time, and she had hidden her power. The dagger turned into a silver dragon, pierced through the poisonous fog, and took the shoulders of the first family leader, and blood rose. Ruilin, I'll take the left wing. She yelled softly, her eyes fixed, and she stood shoulder to shoulder with him. The emotions in the interaction were like flames. This woman, from an ally to a confidant, deepened the new port. The climax explodes. Lu Feng's black beads smashed into it, and the hidden weapon was like a black hole swallowing the spirit. Ruilin ran into the Xintian glass, the light of the glass weakened, and it backed down. With a shock, Lu Feng's arm exploded and he shouted and retreated, No! The treasure of the Tianxian Alliance. Ruilin laughed, Summon the army. The runes of the passage were buzzing, the large secret realm door opened, and the spirit army was flooded like a tide. The iron-armored wolf pack roared and slashed, tearing the vines, the thunder horns and deer antlers flashed, shattering the thunder palm, the wind blade and fox shadow were like wind, shaking the poisonous fog. The head of the silver pupil Lion King was straight at Lu Feng, and his claws were like pads, tearing him open his body. Lu Feng screamed, the black bead shattered, he broke his head and knelt down and bleeding, Ruilin. I'm wrong, from the day of the auction, I will. Before he finished speaking, the Lion King pressed his claw, and Lu Feng's head exploded, bloody, falling down. The revenge of hatred is like a current of electricity. Ruilin feels refreshed and calm. The hatred is over, and no longer quarrels. The owners of the aristocratic family were shocked, surrounded by wolves. One of them was killed by deer antlers, the other was tortured by fox shadows, and the last one knelt down. Stop. We were deceived by Lu Feng, and the ultimate passage of the map of Tianshan Alliance. That is the core of the ancient secret realm, which can open the gate of the fairy world and swallow the spirit and enforce the city. Wei Wei swung her dagger and solved the enemy. She turned around and grabbed Ruilin's arm. It's over. He fell. You're free. Her hands were warm, and there was a hint of tenderness in her eyes. It's great to fight shoulder to shoulder. From now on, I will keep this balance with you. Ruilin pointed her head and shook her hand tightly. Vivi, thank you. The ultimate passage is exposed. The Tianshan Alliance wants to open the fairy gate and overthrow the mortal dust. We can't wait. After the war, the Spirit Army conquered the aristocratic families and defeated the Channel Alliance again. Ruilin looked deep in the mountains and forests and thought to himself, after revenge, he was overwhelmed by the climax, and he was ready to attack. The balance of integrity allows me to actively explore the ultimate channel and break the foundation of the Tianshan Alliance. On the eve of the climax, the alliance was like fire, burning towards the core of the middle-level immortal cultivation. Wei Wei leaned on his shoulder and said in a low voice, "Next step, Jiangcheng." He smiled. Together. The night wind blew away the blood, and the city's lights were in front, without a plane, and were close at hand. When Ruilin opened the back door of the Mobwan tea house, the night was already deep, and the bloody smell of fighting in the mountains and forests remained on the corner of her clothes, smearing the faint jasmine fragrance on Vivi. She followed her. Her black skirt was lightly slanted. The redness on her face had not yet faded. She held the black beads that were found from Lu Feng's desolation in her hand. Ruilin, the confession of the aristocratic family has been proven. The ultimate passage of the Tianshan League is not just the city. They are in charge of the Northern Alliance Aristocratic Family Association, hidden in an underground fortress outside Jiangcheng. There is the core of New Zealand. The French treasure house is filled with ancient objects and guarding hundreds of powerful golden elixirs. Wei Wei said softly, her eyes flashing and vigilant. I have penetrated their information network and created an invitation letter. You can enter as a casual cultivator and you should cooperate outside. Ruilin was pointed, and his heart was filled with tide. Lu Feng fell, and the flame of revenge finally went out, replaced by a wider responsibility. The alliance was as large as 200 people, and the casual cultivators saw him as hope, but he knew that relying on hard work alone would not work. Returning to the secret room, he sat down with his legs and took out the runes. The stone surface moves like a heart, the golden elixir is injected with spirit power in the later stage, the runes are buzzing, the air is twisted into a whirlpool, and an unprecedented grand door emerges, the depth of the ancient secret realm. He took a deep breath and pushed the door in. The surrounding scenery changes, it is no longer a wasteland, but an illusion of the vast starry sky. Under the feet is a floating crystal island. The stars at the top rotate like living things, and the spirit is so dense that it turns into a silver fog. When it falls, it is like a prickly thorn in the distance. The thunder and birds scatter in the air, and the ancient bloody breath is filled with the air. This deep secret realm is like the ancient fairy war, with the broken flag flying, hidden with the sacred soul. The spirit monkey bent down on her shoulders, and the golden retriever was wary of the low bird. Ruilin's movement turns into heaven, the golden elixir is like a melting furnace, and he senses a powerful spiritual pressure deep, the inner demon test. Suddenly, the starry sky twisted and a black shadow condensed. It was his phantom, the young self, the mediocre office worker. His face was full of fatigue and resentment. Ruilin, do you think that rising can change everything? Power will only destroy you. Family members will be swept into the vortex of immortal cultivation because of you, and allies will die under your ambition. The phantom growled, his voice as if he was demonic, and his decayed smell was filled with the air. Ruilin's heart was tightened, and his heart was as innocent as a knife. From then on, I only rose to self-protection. Now, this attempt forced me to see directly if the power is unbalanced, it will only repeat the overthrow of the aristocratic family. He clenched his fists and recalled the true way of keeping the Tao, and maintaining the urban balance. Only then can he be the true way. The phantom came and turned into countless resentful spirits, and the cold touch felt like thousands of bone-eating. Ruilin growled, "Error. The power is for all living beings, I keep the balance." The power of the golden elixir exploded, the wires of the creeping network are spread out like the sky network, and the mysterious lens reflects the weakness of the inner demons, the core is his fear. As soon as the lens flashed, the resentment disintegrates, and the phantom mourns turn into spirits and rush into the Dantian. The bottle crocodile is like an iron wall shatters, the golden elixir melts and reconstitutes, the spirit is like a galaxy, and it directly penetrates the early stage of the Yuan dynasty. Inside the Dantian, a baby was formed in a virtual shadow, with a round of golden light, and its power surged several times. His body was as light as a star. He slapped out with one palm, and the island shattered, shaking the starry sky, bringing wind and thunder. The inner heart turns like the stars breaking. By living in the inner demon, I have become a mature and strong man from a young newcomer, no longer lost, and will definitely maintain balance. This is a machine-free power, the power of the Yuan baby, which allows me to see the truth about the ultimate channel. At the depth of the secret realm, a crystal sacrificial fortress lit up, and the ancient immortal artifact Heavenly Way appeared. The wheel body is like a star plate, engraved with cosmic runes, and scattered without any power. Ruilin touches, the immortal weapon buzzes and recognizes the master, and the brain storms into the wheel way. It can turn time and space, control cause and effect, break the shackles and locks, and finally turn into the wheel of the way of heaven, and control all spirits. When he tried to fight, the shadows in his palm flashed, the stars around him turned back, and the spirits gathered into an army. It is as refreshing as electric current. This immortal weapon is not only a killer, but also a divine weapon that breaks the deadlock. The door opened again, returned to the secret room, and the figure of Lichin condensed. The old man's eyes were like a starry sea. "Boy, is Yuan baby? The inner demon is over, it's good." He pointed his finger at the rune of the passage, and a helping talisman flew out, integrating into Ruilin's Dantian. This Hengdao talisman will help you move around the Tao and prevent the causal trap of the Tianqian alliance. At the Jiangcheng conference, the team will attack. Be wise, brave and virtuous. Ruilin bowed and said, "Teacher, thank you. Vivi has penetrated, we can move." Lian smiled faintly and said, "The way to balance is to protect everyone." The next evening, they and their team rushed to the outskirts of Jiangcheng. Wei Wei pretended to be a female cultivator of the aristocratic family and sneaked into the conference in advance, and reported the story. The 3 underground layers of the fortress are located in the core, and the Dharma treasure is in the core, guarding the 50 golden elixirs and the 10 Yuan baby in the early stages. The Alliance Family Association has a final passage, hiding a jade key for opening the door. They are in charge of the Tianqian League, preparing to discuss tonight and swallowing the spiritual corpse of the South City. Chen Feng and the other 2 kept their wings, and Lian said softly, "Boss, we will follow you in the power of the Yuan baby." Ruilin pointed his head, and his heart was determined. The teen power is the maturity magazine. The entrance to the underground fortress is hidden in a cave, with runes flashing on the moist stone walls, and the burnt smell of iron and spiritual collision in the air. Vivi opened the secret door from inside, and the black skirt flashed, and Ruilin entered inside. "Hurry, the office is on the 2nd floor, I will open the side." She was flexible, and the dagger and silver light stabbed the 2 guards, and the smell of blood was low. Ruilin's way of traveling, the wheel shadow hides its breath, bringing the spirit monkey and Chen Feng into the core. In the meeting hall, the lights were bright, and the main members of the Alliance family gathered, and the northern accents were one after another. The Tianqian Alliance. After the end of the extreme passage, the spirits were divided equally. The Nanqing Channel Alliance did not jump into the clown, and it was all over. The middle-term old man of the head, the Alliance President Zhao Tianba, sneered, holding the jade key in his hand, and the spirit light flashed. Suddenly, the warning shot was revealed, and Vivi's penetration was exposed. Zhao Tianba stood up and said, "There is a fortune. The fort is blocked." 10 strong people came. The golden elixir Yuan baby was like a tide, the sea of thunder was rushing, the heat waves distorted the air, and the sound of killing was silenced. Before Chen Feng's earth thorn rose and swelled, Li Yun's poisonous fog spread, and Zhang Zi's vines blocked the road, but I was in danger of being in danger. A golden elixir palm power came, and Chen Feng's blood was discharged and retreated. "Boss!" Wei Wei shouted, killing her wings from her side. The dagger pierced the enemy's throat, and blood rose. "Ruilin, the Fabeo is in the back hall, fight quickly." Ruilin's heart was infuriated, and the Yuan baby's spirit was fully opened, like the stars bursting out. "A turn of the way!" He growled. The shadow of the way of heaven appeared, the wheel of the palm of his palm turned, and the cause and effect of time and space reversed. The strongest people around him acted violently, as if they were trapped in the mud. The talisman of the true assistance talisman is activated, the power of the steady flows in, the golden light of the wheel is flourishing, and a slap condenses, the Yuan baby slap that combines the green waves and the slap, like a galaxy. Swallow. The slaying light swept, the air torn and thunder came out, 10 strong ones had their bodies shattered, the golden elixirs were broken, and the Yuan baby's primordial spirit shook, and the sarcasm fell to the ground, and the flesh and blood were blurred like rain. Zhao Tianba's face turned pale. "Early baby Yuan? Impossible." He summoned the mountain camp, and the black light was like a wall slamming in front of him, but the way of the Tao broke the cause and effect, and the method of the camp reversed and retaliated against himself. With the sound of, Zhao Tianba knelt on the ground with blood and the jade key landed on the ground. The whole scene was dead, and the remaining heads of the aristocratic families knelt down in shock. "The leader is your life. We are blinded by the Tianshan alliance, and the core of the primordial core is here." The jade key connects the ultimate channel, which will overturn the urban balance when opened. Ruilin's sword hit his throat, and he looked at the crowd. "Submit the channel alliance and hand over the Dharma treasure house." The silence stopped. "Step." Wei Wei approached and wiped the dagger. "Ruilin, fucked beautifully." The warehouse opened, and the ancient treasures were piled up, so we could divide it. She touched his arm lightly, with trust in her eyes. "The team is in charge, this climax is so cool." Chen Feng stood up and smiled with blood. "Boss, a sweep is flat, it's a legend." Ruilin destroys the jade key, the power of the wheel turns into gold and fire, and the core of the grave flying in smoke. The remaining aristocratic families have been loyal to each other, the Channel League is famous for its far-reaching reputation, and the Northern Spirit Network has been fully included. Li Cheng was puzzled and said in a whisper, "Boy, you are mature." In the end, the Tianshan alliance is about to be over. The fairy gate will open, and the way of balance will be decided by a battle. Ruilin pointed his head and looked at the outer starry sky of the fortress, thinking, the power of Yuan baby is opened, and he can get it without any machine. But the ultimate tragedy of the Tianshan alliance is like an arrow on the string. Vivi pulled his hand and said, "Together, guard this world." The night wind blows away the nitrozer, and although the road ahead is in danger, the team is like stars, illuminating the peak. When Ruilin stepped out of the exit of the underground fortress in Jiangcheng, the night wind blew the pine odor of the mountains and forests, and the lights in the far city spread like a galaxy. The spiritual monkey on his shoulder gently slammed his neck, and the monkey's eyes reflected a sharp slut. Wei Wei followed her, with a little dust on her black skirt. She wiped the dagger quickly and smiled. "Ruilin, all the alliance families have turned to us. The Northern Spirit Network has obtained it, and the resource database of the Channel Alliance can lift an iron army. Lu Feng's shadow is gone at all." Chen Feng and the other two were escorting the last few prisoners and panting on the car. Li Yun said in a low voice, "Boss, Zhao Tianba's jade key is broken, and the ultimate channel plan of the Tianshan Alliance is probably anxious." Ruilin was pointed, and his heart was tied and calm. From the rune at auction to the control of the overall situation now, he walked through this road, blood and fire were intertwined. He held Vivi's hand tightly, and his palm conveyed her warmth, return to Modien and integrate resources. The casual cultivators are waiting for the spirit stone elixir, and we can calm people's hearts. The team drove to the South City, and the lights on the night road were plucked, and the roar of the spirit army was hidden from the tent ring. When I returned to the tea house, it was already before dawn. The lights in the secret room in the back hall were bright and the allies gathered together. The Lin family member kneeled down and went to the list of magic treasures, hundreds of top-grade spirit tools, thousands of spirit stones, and several fragments of runes that broke the passage. Leader, these are the ancestors of the Lin family. They are of the same origin as your runes and can help fusion. Lin Xian said with a low head, his former arrogance disappeared. Ruilin sat down with his legs and took out the runes of the main channel. In the later stage of the Golden Dan, the spiritual power flowed like a river, and the Dantian was ignited by the heavens. He pressed the fragments of the Lin family into the palm of his palm. Buzz buzz, the golden light burst out, fragments merged into the main talisman like stars, the vortex of spirit accelerated, and the veins were as if they were heavily burned by fire, and the air was filled with the burning sweet smell of electric light and burning incense. The baby Yuan shadow was spinning in his dantian, and the bottle was swelling like ice cracks. He took a deep breath and swallowed an extremely fine Yuan Dan from the battle spoils. Dan medicine melts immediately after entering the mouth, and the spirit is like volcanic spray, which directly impedes the middle stage of the Yuan dynasty. The thunder and birds in the dantian were shaking, the baby's shadow was solid, the strength suddenly increased several times, and the body was as light as the wind. He punched lightly, and the wall of the secret room cracked in the slightest traces, which made the teacup ding. The middle stage of Yuan baby. Ruilin murmured, his spirit in the field was like a wire that could be controlled. After controlling multiple runes of the passage, the door of the secret realm opened with his heart, and the power was no higher than the waves. Wei Wei approached with her eyes bright. Monster, you. The story is here. The top family of Tianshan Alliance, the Xianming sect, resisted in the last ancient temple in the western suburbs. They are the iron rods of the middle-level immortal cultivation. The head of the family, Xianming Zhenren, was good at the long ghost and dark stomping method. Lu Feng's party was hidden there, and he was in a picture of the handwriting, guarding the fragments of the final channel. She passed a jade silhouette and his voice was low. They have penetrated their outer doors and turned into a casual cultivator. Tonight, they have entered the joints, and they should work outside to take their nests. Ruilin held her hand and felt warm inside. Okay, Vivi, you and I will understand each other well. We will make a decision on the day of the auction. Qinfeng, you are carrying a spirit army outside to suppress the air. Lian Zhangzi, and the poison ivy cooperated. Qinfeng smashed his fist and smashed his palm. Boss, don't worry, don't leave anyone. At dusk, they rushed to the ancient temple in the western suburbs. The ancient trees outside are lush, and the wind blows the leaves like devil's cry, and the moist smell of moss and hidden coldness in the air. Wei Wei's figure flashed, and her black skirt blended into the shadow, and opened the side door. Come on, the Palace of Consulates is in the inner courtyard. I will open the patrol. Ruilin said as she flew away, and the shadow was hiding her breath, and the monkey with her shoulders lowered her head, carrying him in. Suddenly, the air condensed, and the figure of Xingqiang condensed from the empty space. The old man was in a long robe and his hair was wearing a mountain wind and grass fragrance. Boy, I'm here at the critical moment. He pointed his finger at Ruilin's eyebrows, and a golden light rushed into the end of the Great Tao, a mental method that combines all the secrets, can transform the team's power, turn the whole world into one, and break the shackles of all the magic. The last lesson of the master and the disciple, it is not a force, but a team. Vivi's spirit, Qinfeng's volition, and the wildness of the spirit are all integrated into your wheel. The tacit understanding is the same, indestructible. Ruilin's heart was shocked, and the rotation of his mind was enlarged. He felt that his ally's breath was connected like a wire. Vivi's movement was clearly sensible. Teacher, thank you. This secret makes us use our fingers like an arm. He stood up and smiled faintly. The decision of the throne is about to be decided. Guard the respect of the throne. After the words finished, the spiritual pressure in the negotiation hall exploded. Wei Wei's sweat was exposed, and a ghost shadow came, with a sharp wind. Jizzy, dare to penetrate Xianming's sect. Wei Wei's dagger was lightly lit, piercing the ghost shadow, and the smell of blood was low. Ruilin, inside the hall. Ruilin roared and rushed in, and the Yuan baby's mid-stage spirit was fully opened, like a star pressing on the top. The lights and fires in the hall were swaying, and the true man Xianming sat upright on the platform. His long beard was as bright as ink, and his later breath was as breathing as the trench in the dark sea. The 30 strongest people around the world were waiting for the golden Dan Yuan baby. Lu Feng's party knelt beside him, his face twisted. Jing Man, the boy from the Channel League is here. Kill him, take the rune. The real person sneered, and pinched his hands. Ghost Netherworld, get up. Suno, the Tianxian League, after the extreme passage is opened, the Xianming sect leader leads the middle layer. Tu Baozi, kneel down to draw the talisman. The law of the air started, the black fog in the hall rose, the ghosts were mourning like tide, the air was condensed like iron, and the cold touch felt like a bone. The golden elixir calls the ghost claws to grab it, while the Yuan baby burns the sky with the fire of the underworld, and the hot waves scatter the fishy and smelly face. Ruilin was in a state of turmoil and finally moved forward. The wheels were golden and prosperous, and the team's spirit gathered. Vivi, side wings. He shouted softly, and the shadow turned, and Wei Wei's spiritual breath merged into the raging light. Her body was like a wind, and the dagger turned into a silver dragon and stabbed the ghost claws, and the flesh and blood were blurred. Ruilin, the tacit understanding is full. Chen Feng rose from the outside earth thorn, breaking the edge of the black fog. Li Yun's poisonous fog back. Zhang Zi vines were like a net seal on the side. The spirit army roared to help, and the wolf claw shadow tore the dark fire. It's a little fun. Xianming Zhenren smiled. Boy, mid-stage Yuan baby? A joke. He danced with his stud. The core of the Ghost Mind clan exploded, the black light swallowed like a sea, the top of the palace cracked, and the stone chips flew. Ruilin is determined in his heart and integrates the ultimate move Zhidao Tianhengju. The runes of the passage move in many ways. The heavenly wheels and the Xiantian glass and the golden elixir are sturdy, and the Hengdao wheels are assisted. The team's spirit is like a river and a sea, condensed into a giant wheel. The galaxy flows, and the galaxy turns, and the lens reflects the weakness, pointing directly to the eyes. Go! Ruilin roared, and the sword light burst out, the air torn and thunderbolts burst out, easily disintegrating the ghost and dark Aquarius. The black fog dissipated like smoke, and the ghost mourning symbol collapsed. Impossible. The real person's face turned pale, his body shield shattered, and the strong one shook the strong. They broke their feet and knelt on the ground to spray blood. Lu Feng was shocked. Real person, help. But Lu Feng was full of power, and the party was flying gray and smoked, and the smell of blood spread throughout the palace. Ruilin approached and slapped it out with one palm. Hengdao palm, which merged with the power of the team, was like a mountain collapse, sealing the real person's dantian. The real man knelt down and his stud fell to the ground. The whole palace was silent, and Ruilin looked at the real person coldly. The chanting is exposed, Xianming sect is loyal, or may be killed. The real person knocked on his head, loyalty. The sect's dharma treasures are all the leaders. Wei Wei approached, wiped the blood on the dagger, and smiled lightly. Ruilin, this ultimate move is not explosive. The team is in charge, and there is no enemy. There was a little more closeness in her eyes, and she was tacit understanding in the interaction. Ruilin pointed her head and pulled her up. Vivi, I'm so impressed you. The secret of Lizhen Master, let us turn from the loose sand to the iron plate. Chen Feng rushed in and wiped his sweat and said, Boss, the outside is clear, the spirit army has suppressed the enemy, and all captured. After the battle, Ruilin integrated the resources of Xianming sect, the ancient treasures swept into the world of stalks, and the Passage Alliance was like a tiger. He looked at the starry sky outside the hall, and his heart was as innocent as a tide to reflect, from an ordinary office worker who missed the auction to a mid-term strong man in Yuan dynasty, this road to rise was covered with blood. Power is like a double blade, and when I was easily crushed against my opponent, I was lost in revenge. But Vivi's trust, integrity teaching, and the shoulders of allies made me respect this power. It is not for selfish desire, but for responsibility. Protect your family and balance urban resilience. This is the peak. The new order is established from now on. The scattered cultivators share the spirit, the aristocratic family is inseparable, and the Passage Alliance is a shield. The remaining power of the death was like autumn winds. The spies of the ancient northern tribe were intercepted by the guild network, and the news of the Tianxian League was revealed. Ruilin summoned allies, and the lights and fires in the secret room were swaying. Brothers, Xianming sect is hidden, and the ultimate tunnel silence stops in our hands. But the Tianxian Alliance is in the ancient sect, and the sect leader Yuan Babyfeng is sitting in the town. We attack and cut off its foundation. Wei Wei clenched the dagger. Together, Ruilin. I will go to Feng Feng with you. Chen Feng smashed his fist. Boss, the tunnel silence is in the league. The spirit monkey squeaked, and the beast roared. Ruilin clicks on his head, his heart is hot, the climaxes rise and the peaks are in conflict, and it is about to open. The night wind blows in, and the storm of nitrazine is filled with turbulent and powerful waves. Although the road ahead is safe, the responsibility is like a star, illuminating the air without a machine. Ruilin's voice fell, and the lights in the secret room swayed slightly, reflecting the faces of the people. Vivi stepped forward, her black skirt shining with silk under the light. She took out the last jade from the silhouette, injected with spirit, projecting a three-dimensional image of ancient wild animals, an underground palace hidden deep in the West Mountain. The walls are engraved with ancient runes, and the spirit in the core hall is like waves turning over. Ruilin, this is the fatal information of the general leader of the Tianxian Alliance. I ventured through their outside world last night and stole it. The leader of the sect, Xiantian Ancestor, is not as simple as Yuan Baby's volume. He is the leader of the ancient cultivation power Xiantian Ancient Pill. The top of Yuan Baby's volume controls ancient spiders and can absorb all spirits for your own use. The general leader has hundreds of spiders, the core. There are fragments of the ultimate passage that is the key to opening the gate of the fairy world. They want to use it to cover the city and rebuild the ancient empire. Vivi's voice was low and rapid, and there was trust in his eyes, but the weakness lies here. The ancestor's fate is backlash, and I have marked the position of my eyes. You are the main attack, and Chen Feng and others will cut off the back. Ruilin pointed his head and felt excited. Vivi has been his backing since the day of the auction. This story is like a magic weapon, which has resolved countless hidden arrows. He clenched her hand tightly, and his palms came warm. Vivi, thank you. This battle ended everything. Chen Feng and the other two stood up and smashed their hands with fists. Boss, our spirit army will be on standby at any time. The spirit monkey squeaked under Ruilin's shoulder, and his eyes were wild like fire. In the night, the team quietly drove towards the West Mountain. The mountain road winded, the wind blew the loose and moist smelled, and the dampness of the underground spirit was hidden. Arriving at the entrance of the shore, a secret stone door is hidden on the cliff. Ruilin travels with a wheel, the shadows turn lightly, the cause and effect of time and space change slightly, and the stone door opens without sound. The air is filled with iron and ancient blood, the stones are slimming under the feet, and the runes on the wall emit a dark blue light, like a flash of ghost fire. He entered the first-level guard hall, and 10 powerful Jindans patrol the logic. The spirit light flashed, and the air was whispered, once you open the fragments tonight. Those wandering cultivators from the Channel League dared to come and die. Wei Wei was as tall as a shadow, and the dagger and silver light flashed, stabbed 2 sentinels, and the smell of blood was low. Hurry, sideways. Chen Feng's earth thorn quietly rose, blocking the retreat. Li Yun's poisonous fog spread, and Zhang Zi's vines were like a net. The secondary conflict broke out. A group of Yuan babies came in the early stage of guarding, the fireball thunder network was scattered, the heat waves twisted the stone wall, and the gravel fell. Ruilin growled, "The team is fighting together." Finally, the golden light of the wheel gathered the spirit of the people, and the shadow of the spirit monkey claws tore the fireball. The sword in his palm swept, and the Yuan baby's power that merged with the green wave and the wheel was like a galaxy. The number of guardians broke in an inch, kneeling on the ground and bleeding. Monster. Yuan baby's mid-stage? Weiwei replenished her sword and the dagger entered her throat. Ruilin, the palace gate is close. They were like winds, solving the edge force, and the iron blood of the Channel Alliance tacit understanding made every step like an arm and finger. Go deep into the core hall, the lights and fires are bright, the ancient jade pillars are lying on the rings, and fragments of the ultimate passage floating on the central sacrificial fortress, a crystal jade plate, which scatters without any power, and the air is buzzing like thunder. The ancestor Shen Tian sat upright on the platform, with a long beard as white as snow, and the Yuan baby's peak was as strong as an ancient sea. The golden light flowed around him, sucking the breath of the spiritual breath in the palace. The 10 ancient cultivators, Lao Yuan, were waiting for the late stage. At the end of the Lu Feng party, the last few people knelt on the ground, their faces twisted. Old ancestor, the Passage Alliance has entered. Kill that boy, Rune. The ancestor sneered, and his voice was like an ancient bell. Boy, the mortal who missed the auction, has come to this point. Xiantian ancient pig has been buried for thousands of years, and today it will open the fairy gate, and the city is in power. You Rune, miss me. He stood up, and the black and golden spirit lights came like a tide. Runes at the top of the palace lit up, ghosts and underworlds intertwined with thunder and fire, cold and hot waves swept across the face, stone pillars shook, and dust rustled. A fierce battle explodes. The ancestor slapped out his palm, and the power of the storm turned into a huge spiritual hand, grabbing Ruilin, and the air twisted and exploded. Ruilin felt nervous and felt a sense of tide. This is the final boss of urban immortal cultivation. The ancient cultivation power came out of the nest and could not let them lose their balance. He was in the middle of the Yuan dynasty and the spirit of the baby came forward. The wheel of the Dao Tianheng burst out. The razor light was like a wheel of the galaxy. The huge hands were cut, and the waves shook the 2 old men. They fell to the ground with blood and bones cracked and harsh sounds. But the ancestor's backlash was not yet experiencing danger, and the spirit was still endless. He summoned the ancient temple again. The phantoms of the spirit beasts roared, and the huge iron-armored beasts came, and the claws digging the ground to slam the soil, and the fishy nose was swept. Weiwei stabbed her body to the side wings, and the dagger and silver dragon broke through the phantom. Ruilin, your eyes are under the sacrificial supreme. The situation is accurate, the ancestor is weak there. Her fatal blow blocked the 3-old retreat, and the blood rose, and the tacit understanding was as old as before. Chen Feng and the other 2 worked together to press the edges, and the spirit beast army emerged from the stairs. The wolf and deer blew the phantom beasts, and their roars were shocking. Ruilin's heart is like light, from pursuing strength to full control. This battle made me understand that protecting family and allies is the meaning of the peak. Suddenly, the air condensed, and the figure of Li Ji condensed from the empty sky. The old man was in a long robe and his hair was wearing a mountain wind. Boy, I'll help you. He pointed out his fingers, and the golden light of Hengdao talisman was injected into Ruilin's dantian. Activate all runes, the power of ancient times, wake up. Ruilin's heart was shocked, and the runes in the passage in his palm were moving like crazy. All the fragments of the Lin family and Xianming sect were lit up, and the golden light was like rivers and seas. The middle stage bottle horn of Yuan baby exploded, directly obstructing Yuan baby's turbulence. The baby in the dantian is like a god, the power is violent, and the veins are like a bridge of heaven. He feels that the power is as unobstructed as the universe, and the cause and effect of all things in the field is clearly visible. Ancient calls. Ruilin roared, the runes were opened, the sacrifice was shaken, and the ancient power was like a star falling. The air in the hall was twisted, and a giant figurine appeared, the projection of the ancient immortal, holding the wheel of the heavenly way, and the power crushed the entire field. The ancestor's face turned pale. Lost runes, impossible. He ran wildly, and the huge wave of black gold came towards him, but the giant spirit slapped it with a palm, and the slap backwards and exploded. The ancestors twitched backwards and bleeding from his mouth, reversed. Ruilin's rifle fused with the power of the ancient times, and turned the sky, and the wings were like the universe, and it smashed down, road. The hall collapsed, the stone chips flew like rain, the ancestor's body shattered, the wings were exhausted, and he knelt down, road life. Gufeng surrendered. The elders were shocked and knocked on their heads, the illusion of the beasts collapsed, and the flesh and blood were blurred. It was extremely refreshing, like a current swelling. Ruilin swept the entire world with a single sword. The ancient cultivation force was overturned. Finally, fragments of the extreme passage flowed into his palm. He got the hand without a machine. The key of the immortal gate, which contained the ancient immortal-style Yongheng heavenly way, which directly reached the realm of transformation of gods. Wei Wei hugged him and hugged his arm. Ruilin, I've won. Your growth, from that local bun to urban legend. Li Ji smiled and said, boy, I have complete control. Master, you have witnessed it, your heart is full and you have no regrets. Ruilin stood still while breathing, looking at the fragments. His heart changed like the rising sun. The pursuit is over, and the journey is full. Family members are safe and allies are like their own, and this force will always be protected. The crisis is fully resolved, the urban immortal world regains balance, and the Channel Alliance is about to reach the top. He turned around and said to everyone, integrate ancient resources and return to the southern city. The final battle has been defeated. The night wind blows away the nitrous smoke in the hall, and the city's lights are ahead, and the peaks are shining, shining forever. The waves in the hall receded like a tide, and the stone chips and bloody smell dissipated in the night wind. The ancestor Shen Tian knelt on the ground, and his former mighty is swayed as a storm. His frigidity was dry, his face was as white as paper, and he murmured, boy, you won. Ancient resources, the entire Channel Alliance. The elders around them knocked on their heads like garlic, and the pressure in the hall was like a crushed wave, leaving only a low breathing sound. Ruilin held the crystal jade plate tightly, the fragments of the ultimate passage, and an ancient movement came from his palm, like the whisper of the ancient heart. It echoed with his passage runes, and the golden light spread like a thread, and the air was filled with the mixture of incense and thunder, hiding the coldness of the stars. Vivi came from her side, covered in dust on her black skirt. She hugged Ruilin's arm and panted and smiled. Ruilin, your sword is so simple. The ancestor has knelt down, and the Tianshan Alliance's treacherous shattered. Her eyes were bright, with fatigue and joy after the war, and her fingers touched his sleeves lightly. Chen Feng and the other two walked into the hall with the spirit army. The wolf pack roared and waited, and the Lion King's silver pupils were flashing, which made the elders unable to move. Lian wiped the poisonous penis and said in a low voice, Boss, all the parties outside were captured. The spies from the ancient tribe from the north also captured 2 of them. In the confession, they wanted to join forces with the ancestor to open the immortal gate, but now the entire line has collapsed. Zhang Zivine held it and grinned, the Channel Alliance has won. This urban immortal cultivation world will be turned over now. Ruilin took a deep breath, and the night wind blew in from the cracked roof of the hall, bringing the pine smell of the mountains and forests. He felt that the baby Yuan in his dantian was like a thirsty young girl, restless and restless. It's not finished yet, he said softly, sitting down with his legs and pressing the jade plate into the rune core of the passage. The golden light bursts out like a river breaking a dike. All the fragments, from the inconspicuous stone talisman at the auction to the murderous films of the Lin family and Xianming sect, all gathered together. The spirit is like a melting furnace burning and burning the veins, the heat waves shaking, and the muscles tremble, and there is no phantom in the field, the blood of ancient immortal wars, the spirit veins, and the mortal veins. The pain was as painful as 10,000 pounds, but he gritted his teeth and moved the heavenly style and the wheel. The golden light of Hungdao talisman assisted, the yuan baby rotated and accelerated, and the bottle was like the sky wall shattered. A sound of shock, the thunder and birds in the dantian were suddenly awake, and the shadow of yuan baby disintegrated and reborn, turning into a golden body divine baby, with no time left, scattering the light of the transformation of the divine. The power of the spirit surged several times, and the trunk was like a bridge of heaven, and the whole body was as light as feathers. When the air was raised, the air twisted into a whirlpool. With a palm, the wall of the hall collapsed without sound, and the waves were like wind falling leaves, rolling up the dust on the ground. Ruilin's eyes are slim, and the cause and effect of all things in the field are visible as the internet, and urban lights are far away like stars. He stood up, and his breath was as breathed as a mountain in the early stage of his transformation. All the people in the palace were shivering, and the ancestors shook, the powerful person who transformed the gods, the urban legend, the ancient Shantian, and the loyalty forever. As refreshing as electric current, Ruilin's heart is short and deep. From the unexpected wall of that remote back alley to the current plane of heaven, this process is like a dream. Lu Feng's picks, Wei Wei's information, and honest teachings push me forward every step. But this power is not for crushing pressure, but is responsible to protect the warmth of my mother, protect the peace of allies, and balance this hidden world of immortal cultivation. As an ordinary office worker, I have become a guardian of the peak. The feeling of satisfaction is like a warm current, washing away all fatigue. Li Cheng condensed from the virtual sky. The old man was flew in his long robe, his hair was light and dirty in the golden light, and his eyes were as gentle as an ancient well. Boy, have you transformed into a god? The runes are all integrated, and the power of the ancient times is in your hands. The time for the master to retreat has arrived. This city will be led by you from now on. He pointed his fingers and conveyed a jade simplicity, the complete meaning of Yongleng heavenly way, which contains no inheritance. Ruilin bowed and answered, and said with a warm eyes, Master, you are like your father. I will always be in love with this inheritance. The Channel Alliance, half of your merits are achieved. Li Cheng smiled and patted him on the shoulder. Cultivating immortals is not a solemn practice. The team and Taoism are connected for a long time. Vivi, this girl, is destined to be with you from the day of the auction. Go back to the mountains and forests and stay behind you, and watch over the back. The figure was light, like a wind melting into the night, leaving only a piece of grass and trees. Wei Wei was stunned for a moment, her face was slightly red. She approached Ruilin and said in a low voice, Tell me? Master, what do you think? Her voice was slippery like a silk thread, carrying the girl's shame, and her eyes were firm. Ruilin turned around, held her hand, and clasped her palms, warm as spirits. Vivi, from the night of the city, you believe me as a local bun, and then fight against Tianxian. I wanted to say, marry me, be my way, and keep this balance together. The whole palace was silent. Chen Feng and the other two grinned. Lian Zhangji said, Boss, this wave is romantic. Wei Wei's eyes were wet, and she said, Follower, I've agreed long ago. From love to war, I'll go to the peak with you. She kissed him on tiptoe, her spirit was as strong as honey. The golden light in the hall flashed, and the way of the Tao was formed, and the sweet fragrance was filled with joy in the air. On the way back to Nanchang, the team was like a long dragon, and the spirit army roared to protect the voyage. Ruilin used the power of transforming the gods to calm down the waves. The ancient northern spies flew in ash and smoked, and the aristocratic families such as the Lin family and Xianming sect surrendered and gave up the spiritual resources. The urban reconciliation circle subsided like a storm. The scattered cultivators emerged from the underground market and knelt down and said, The leader of the legendary alliance, thank you for breaking the bank. Ruilin swept his hands, and his spirit was like rain falling, helping the public to build a fund pill, and said, The Channel Alliance is not a hegemony, but a shared one. The spirit is divided equally, and the market is open, and everyone is strong together. In front of the Madian tea house, gathered together to celebrate. The mother didn't know how to cultivate immortality, but only thought that her son had a successful career. She held the home-cooked dishes from Hot Tang and said with a smile, "Lin Yi, are you so many friends? Mom has made more red meat, everyone eat it." Wei Wei hurriedly put on the plate, changed the black skirt into a simple long skirt, and smiled, "Auntie, I am Brother Lin's, the fiancé." The mother's his eyes lit up and he held Wei Wei's hand, "Good girl. Lin Er has a good vision." Chen Feng and the other two surrounded the table, and the big and fast feasted. Lian said in the dish, "Boss, this meat is more fragrant than the spirit pill. The Channel Alliance is prosperous now." Zhang Tai pointed at the head, "Yes, the Spirit Zodiac Army has also settled down, built a base in the mountains and forests to train newcomers." Ruilin sat in the main seat, looking at the crowd, and his heart was filled with tide, recalling the whole process, from the exhausted mortals who worked overtime, missed the auction and got runes, activated the golden finger, cultivated the rise of the fire, crushed Lu Feng, exposed the trance, joined forces with the scattered cultivators, and went to the god-transformed guarding. This turn makes me understand that strength brings pleasure, but it is more important to responsibilities. Protecting the mother's smile, Vivi's gentleness, and the trust of allies, this satisfaction will help you with any mechanism. Urban balance has never been worrying now. At the night banquet, Ruilin confronted Wei Wei and came to the secret room in the back hall. After the runes of the channel were fully integrated, his mind moved, the runes were buzzing, the air was twisted, and an eternal door appeared, a channel of the new era. Behind the door is not a secret realm, but a land of joy that gathers in the spirit, green mountains and green water. The spirit is as bright as a fog, and you can practice the treasures freely and share the Dharma treasure. Ruilin pushed the door, and his spirit extended like a bridge, connecting all the cities in the city. The cultivators felt it and shouted, "The leader has opened the passage. The prosperous era is coming." Wei Wei leaned on his shoulder and said in a low voice, "Ruilin, this is your legend. Let's lead the cultivator together and maintain balance forever." He pointed and kissed her, "Well, it's your life." As the morning light grew, Ruilin opened his home, and the mother's fragrance sniffed her nose. He is no longer an ordinary person, and he will always remember his original intention. Urban lights remain old, and the world of cultivation is reborn, and the wonders last forever.